Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WrestleRant Radio here today, Thursday, March 6, 2025. We now live in a world where John Cena is heel. That's what we're talking about here today, and a whole lot more from Elimination Chamber this past week, and of course with Mr. Marceau joining us as always. But that's not Mr. Marceau and my wife. Mr. Marceau is going to be joining us via phone. He's here right now. Mr. Marceau, brother, what's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well, but like I said, Mr. Marceau is not joining via video here today. He's here via audio. Right next to me, I think on my right, left, I don't know what it looks like here on the screen, we have Jamie Lee Mack back here in WrestleRant Radio for the first time in quite a while. He was at Elimination Chamber this weekend, witnessing history, the John Cena heel turn, all the returns, those two great chamber matches. Arguably one of the greatest pay-per-views WWE has ever done. Definitely a B-level pay-per-view. And Jamie Lee Mack was there in Toronto to witness it all. Jamie, welcome back to the show, brother. What's going on?
This is how well I'm doing. I'm still recovering. No, this is not alcohol. This is a caffeinated beverage. Doing great. That was I think I counted the other day. I think that was my 7th or 8th WWE show overall.
Wow.
And I know you guys have me outranked by like shitloads. But that was by far the best, shocking, absolutely amazing, excellent, astounding, like all the words you can think of, like show that I have ever attended. And being there to see John Cena turn heel, not something I ever thought I would ever experience, but
most definitely not. And that was something that we saw. I mean, it closed the show. That wasn't just, the only thing that happened. Obviously, there's a whole lot more that happened on that show, but John Cena, now heel. Jamie, we've been friends now, Twitter friends. Obviously, we met in person at Elimination Chamber weekend 2 years ago, and I would say that was one of the best shows that I've ever been to, one of the best wrestling weekends I've ever had. Amazing.
Yep, I agree.
Not just, obviously, I think that was the last time we talked to you here on the show. Obviously, I've talked to you otherwise since then, but like here on the show itself, I think that was the last time I had you on, was Elimination Chamber weekend, and that was 2 years ago. And I would say that was one of the best shows that I've been to, Mr. Marceau as well. And you made the trip back to Canada. Obviously, you're Canadian. I say make the trip back to Canada. You fucking live there. But to Toronto specifically, you made the trip, and certainly well worth it. So we're going to get into it here today. A lot to discuss. If you're joining in the chat, first of all, thank you. I'll get to it in just a moment. Of course, new episodes every single Thursday, WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, all the usual podcast platforms, live every Thursday. Depending on the time, though, today we're going early, around 8 a.m. Eastern time. Sometimes it's 11, 12 Eastern time, so noon, that is, obviously around noon. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button to be notified every single time we go live, and join us every single time we go live talking all this stuff and so much more. So I think that does it, but let's just start off with the obvious here. John Cena turning heel. I don't know if we can start with anything else but that. There's so much to discuss from this weekend, including a Women's World Championship change on Monday night that I'm not quite sure Mr. Marceau has recovered from yet. We'll get to that a little bit later on as far as how that significantly shook up the road to WrestleMania, and we're just going to start with that in just a moment. Let me just look at the chat real quick. We have Millennial Noob joining us, saying good morning to GSM and RJ. We have Jamie here, too, so say hi to Jamie here as well. But Millennial Noob, thanks for joining us. Alexis, of course, joining, as always, of course. How could she not be? She says, good morning, guys. I'm on my way to work. Oh, and by the way, I was right, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Because she was right. I'll just start off with that. She was right about John Cena turning heel. I owe her now not a steak dinner. She doesn't eat steak, but I owe her something. I owe her a favor, like CM Punk is owed by Paul Heyman. So she was right. I'll give her credit on that. Daniel Malcolm also joining us. I was about to say, did Mr. Marceau get Aunt Viv'd? Talking about Aunt getting recasted? Yeah, he got recasted into Jamie Lee Mack. Mr. Marceau is here. He's just joining via audio. Mr. Marceau, with all that being said, John Cena goes heel. We've talked about it for weeks here. We poo-pooed the idea. I shit all over Alexis's idea of Jamie. Jamie's never a heel. Jamie's the ultimate babyface. Okay.
What are you
And
talking about? Well, at least somebody thinks that.
yeah, no, exactly. But John Cena is now a heel. Mr. Marceau, just early thoughts. What are you thinking?
I'm still kind of in shock. I mean, Alexis did ruin it for me. She did text me an audio message that she was right, and I was still like 20 minutes behind because I was watching on delay. So
Yep.
I saw Cena hit Rollins with the AA, and then I looked at my phone. It was like I told you he was turning heel. I'm like, well, Cena's clearly winning, and I guess he's turning heel now. But yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of in shock. I mean, we didn't really follow up on it too much on Raw, so like I guess we really don't know the whole dynamic. I think Travis Scott, I don't know if he's going to be involved or this was just a one-time thing, but I thought his involvement was kind of like funny. I mean, he like slapped the shit out of Cody, and it was kind of funny. But Cena going heel, like hopefully logistically, logically, they can explain it and make it make sense. I think that was kind of my biggest takeaway. Like, why it kind of, like I said, I need a good backing up to like make it make sense, and
Yeah.
I'd probably be more on board. But my initial reaction was shock because I just didn't see it happening, didn't think it should have happened, and like I said, if they can make it make sense, I'd be on board.
I feel the exact same way. I mean, we've been saying it for weeks. That the one reason why I did not like it, I think I would have been a lot more over-the-top excited about it had this been 10, 15 years ago when they probably should have pulled the trigger. Obviously, they waited this long. And it means more, I guess, that they waited longer. But I guess our biggest thing was, because I said constantly when people brought up the idea, it just doesn't make sense to me. Now, could it make sense? Yes, they can absolutely explain it. You just got to give it a little bit more time. He will not be on Raw. Obviously, he wasn't on Raw this week. He won't be on Raw next week, apparently. He'll be back on Raw for the March 17th episode. I think in Brussels, I believe, when they're doing their UK tour. So they have a lot to explain at that point. They kept the momentum rolling, I thought, with Raw on Monday night. But certainly a shock factor that they leaned into on Raw on Monday with the whole, playing the fan reactions. And yeah, you can make the argument they did a little too much of that. But honestly, like the fan reactions were what made the moment as well. And I thought the commentary wasn't exactly memorable, but the crowd reaction and them showing the fan reactions was really what made that moment stand out. As much as it should. John Cena is a heel for the first time as a main eventer. It's a pretty big fucking deal. But Jamie, you were in the building. You heard the reaction. You witnessed the whole thing with your own two eyes. Talk about, first of all, your thoughts on it, but also the on-site reaction as well, and if it was something you saw coming. As soon as you saw Cena standing out there, I'm thinking, okay, then maybe there's a chance, but you don't actually think it's going to happen until it actually does. So give it to me, Jamie. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts on it are going to be very opposite from what you guys have been saying for the last few minutes. I think it was, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's the greatest heel turn of all time.
Okay.
Better than Hope. And the reason why I say that is because John Cena has been the antithesis, I think that's how you pronounce that word, of everything that is good about being good. He's been the poster boy, hustle, loyalty, respect, first one in, last one out, always show up, the whole nine, right? I've been saying for a long time, he did Hulk Hogan's job better than Hogan did.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say this is better than Hogan's turn was because when Hogan turned, yes, it was look, ask anybody from that generation. It was shocking. Didn't see it coming. I completely get that. We knew going into this is John Cena's last year, 2025. He said it back, Money in the Bank 2024, in the same city.
Yep.
This is going to be last year. Okay, we knew it was going in. Hulk Hogan, we didn't know he was going to be done. Originally, when he left WWF, we thought, okay, he's done. He's not going to be doing this. Then he shows up, WCW, does this thing for a couple of years, whatever. Then he turns heel. Okay, clearly, Hogan's here. He's not going anywhere. we all had this preconceived notion that Cena's last year, okay, he's gonna like. It seemed like a majority of the internet, or at least the fan base anyway, wanted Super Cena. They're like, this is Cena's last year. Let him go in. Let him be Superman. Let him do, let him have the typical Cena run. And it seemed like everybody was okay with it. If this was 15 years ago, everybody would be upset. but Cena, arguably, is the most over that he's ever been, because it's no longer cool to shit on Cena, right? The reason why I think this makes perfect sense. Since 2016, 2017, John Cena hasn't really been much of a full-time person. Like 2016 was when we kind of started to see he's here and then he's gone, he's here and then he's gone. And it didn't really go into full swing, I want to say, until around 2018, 2019 for sure, because we didn't see him for a majority of that year. It was usually around Mania season. The last singles win, one-on-one singles match win that he had, we are recording this, what's the date today?
March 6th. Yep.
It has been 2,505 days since John Cena has had a singles win. That was against Triple H, the Great Royal Rumble, at the very first Saudi show. That's how long this has been.
Yeah.
It's been a long ass fucking time since he has had a win. And he's had tag team wins and whatnot. It's one off here and there, but an important one-on-one singles match hasn't won, right? So we get to 2025, his retirement year. Gets to the Rumble, says I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to go to Mania. That doesn't happen. Gets to the final two with him and Jay. Loses. Okay? We know that's not the only way to Mania. When he goes into that presser after the Rumble, that's a heel promo. If you look back on it in hindsight, that is a heel promo.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He said, what I believe is best for business is I main event WrestleMania. What I believe is best for business is I win a 17th world title. He loses the hustle. He doesn't want to qualify for the chamber match. Everybody else had to qualify, but he's like, I'm John Cena. I'm just going to enter the match. Okay, that's a little strange. Usually Cena wants to earn this stuff. He's not going to earn it this time. All right, whatever. Yeah, sure. He's John Cena. He's going to, let that shit slide. And so we get to the chamber match. And the last two, Cena and Punk. Which, by the way, that little exchange they had in the ring with the hug.
Shit, fantastic, yeah.
That was fantastic. I was tearing up. I was like, those are my boys right there. Anyways, we get to the final minute of the match, and Punk gets stomped. Cena usually doesn't like to win that way. And he immediately... Sorry, my dog's going crazy. Cena immediately goes for the FTF. That's not like him. So the loyalty there is kind of gone. It's like, he usually doesn't like to take wins that way. All right. So, and if you go back and listen to when the spot happened, Cena says, I'm sorry. Like, if you listen really closely, he's actually yelling that in the middle of that whole
interesting
hold there. And Seth is yelling at Punk, I hope you die.
Yeah, that was great.
So, yeah. So anyways, after that, Cena wins. Cool. Which I kind of figured was going to happen. I figured with all the stuff that they were kind of doing with Punk and Cody, with the whole, I'm going to stab you in the front, not the back, because I'm a real friend. I thought maybe they might go down that route. But, of course they didn't. So Cena's still in the ring. Cody's music hits, and then that's when I thought, oh shit, this is when they're doing the segment. And I totally forgot about Travis Scott too. When the Rock's music hit, and then it transitioned into Fiend, and I was like, oh yeah, Travis is here.
Yeah.
Which he was. I don't know, like all this shit is like a Fortnite stable to me. John Cena, The Rock, Travis Scott. But anyways, so now, we get to the whole thing. Cody's like, I want it all, but I gave my soul to the ring and these people. And the second he said that, I turned to Brandon, who was with me. You met him.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, Cena's still in the ring. Like, he hasn't left. And I'm thinking, fuck, are they really going to do this? And, the whole like handshake thing brings him in. And of course, like from my point of view, I couldn't see Cena's face. Like everything was off on the side with me. So I happened to glance up at the Tron, and that's when I saw the look on his face, and I was like, no. And I just the biggest no that I've ever let out in my life. And then I look back at the ring and I see Rock doing the slit, which, by the way, the throat slit was the weirdest throat slit that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, and then he hits him with the low blow. So the hustle's gone, the loyalty's gone, and now the respect is gone. His 3 mantras are now gone. John Cena has gotten to the point of desperation where he knows that the window is closing because he announced this year is it. I don't have much time left to win a 17th world title. And what better stage to win your 17th than WrestleMania? Like, yeah, you can win it at a SummerSlam. You can win it at a Money in the Bank. You can win it at, whatever. But, WrestleMania, that's the stage. That's the Super Bowl of this sport. That's where he wants to win it at. He's like, I can't buy a win to save my damn life. I needed to have help to win the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it. I'll take the easy way out for once. And it's very simple. The next time he appears, which I predict he's going to have new music. Everybody's thinking he's going to do, everybody's thinking he's going to go back to Thugonomics. He's going to use Bad Man, which, as much as I like that, I don't think that's the right choice because I think that's going to get more of a pop, and that's what you don't want. So I think he's probably going to get brand new music, and it's probably going to be by Travis Scott, and I imagine he's going to have his voice in there somewhere. But yeah, I think like we're going to get a whole new look on the next Raw, and it's probably going to go something like, oh, now you want to cheer for me. Now you want to give me my flowers. Now kind of that stuff. Like, I can't predict word for word what he's going to say. He may not even say anything. He went to the presser, lifted up the mic and dropped it and walked out.
Yep.
He could just show up and just not say a word. But yeah, like I every year, just when I think that Triple H can't fucking cook something better, it's just so, he surprises me every time. And like, I'm calling it now. Like, not only are we getting a heel Cena at WrestleMania, I think we're getting a heel Cena victory at WrestleMania. I think he gets his 17th title at Mania as a heel. And I will even go one step further with Punk's comments on Raw, because they're just not going to leave that alone.
Of course.
I'm going to make a call. I don't think the location's been announced yet. Money in the Bank this year, it's going to be in Chicago, and I think they're going to run Cena and Punk back one more time.
They really should. It has to happen on that show. Yeah. They have to do that match.
Honestly, like, you can't, like, Punk went out there and called them bald frauds. Like, you can't. Like,
no, of course. And obviously, and he's got his sights set on Seth Rollins for now, but, they're doing that next week, the steel cage match, but they have to go back to Cena and Punk. Not Cena and Rock necessarily, but Cena setting his sights on Rock. They definitely, not Cena setting his sights on Rock, I'm sorry, but Punk going back after Rock has to happen at some point. A match they totally have to do. And despite my own skepticism as far as where this is going and the overall long-term plan here, I do absolutely agree. The execution was amazing. Daniel Malcolm had also said, talking with the presser to Jamie's point, that as soon as he had said the best for business thing, Alexa said the same thing. That's where she got the idea. A lot of people did of, maybe Cena could go heel. But like, again, we've all been fans for more than a year now. Like we've been fans here for a minute. We know that they've teased this before. God knows how many fucking times. 2011, 2014, 2016. Like we've all been through the trenches.
That was one thing. That was one thing that I didn't mention. Like we can argue all day long about when he should have turned and how it should have been done. Like I'll even give you like a few points I could rattle off right now. Nexus is 1, Rock Cena 1, Rock Cena 2, Summer of Punk. Like we can go back and forth all day of when it should have happened. The fact of the matter is it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It did not happen. And now it has happened. And honestly, I don't know how much of an impact it would have had if it had happened back then versus now, because now Cena is in his twilight year. Like, this is his final year. We know it's his final year. And I'm kind of happy that Vince isn't at the helm for this, because I don't know if Vince would have been able to handle a heel Cena, because we saw how badly heel Austin went. I don't know. I just don't think that Cena turning heel back then would have had as much of an impact as it does now, especially at the level that WWE's at right now. Like with all the records they're breaking, every single pay-per-view or PLE. Like, I think now is the best time to do it, and I'm kind of glad that they did. Don't get me wrong, dude, I walked out of that stadium. I was like a zombie. I was legitimately like a zombie. I walked out of there. It was minus 18 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was freezing. I walked out of there. I just held my jacket into my arm, didn't even put it on. I was just like, I legit just looked around like my friends that I was with, and I was like, I feel like a piece of me died in there, because I just didn't think I'd ever see this happen. Well, I mean, but all the clues were there.
Yeah.
All the clues were there, and we just didn't see it. The Rock at Bad Blood held up the fucking 3.
Yeah.
I didn't even piece that together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that. As far as that being, maybe it was the plan the entire time. Very possible. Maybe not possible. I mean, maybe they're making it up as they go along. They want you to think certainly it was the plan the entire time, as far as maybe there's a third man. We'll get to that as well. Definitely possible that they go in that direction. But listen, a lot of different ways this could go. I think at the very least, Mr. Marceau, this has to, I mean, I know we didn't really want Cena to win the Chamber. I mean, this was before we knew he was going heel. But, like, this does make him and Cody at least more interesting, right?
Yeah, it definitely makes him and Cody more interesting. And the face versus face, I don't think I would have been really into. Like you said, I mean, I guess, like you said, I think they're trying to make it seem like it was the plan the whole time. But, like, Rock just came back, like, 2 weeks ago. So, like, was this the plan the whole time? Or, like, did he just want to come back and get involved? And then that's how it kind of spiraled into this? Like, I mean, I know there were signs there, but then he was, like, kissing Cody and Roman on Netflix, and then he wasn't around, and last minute he came back. So, I mean, I think, like you said, the execution was good. Jamie's point, kind of like putting it all together, definitely, like all of the actions definitely make sense. Like, yeah. Could be a third person, could be a woman, could be a man. I mean, I guess we don't really know at this point, but I mean, I don't know if this is the plan the whole time, or just like I said, Rock, just the classic Rock pivot had to be involved. And yeah, this is it's very interesting, but like you said, like, I don't think it was the original thought, but I guess we'll wait and see from here.
Well, I mean, Jamie, go ahead. I'll ask you. Do you think it was the plan the entire time? I stand in the camp that I don't think it was, personally. Is it possible that it was? At this point, I said to Alexis the other day, like, honestly, at this point, I can't shit on any ideas that anyone has. Not that I was going to anyway, but I'm just saying, like, Cena turned heel, the ultimate never say never thing literally just happened. Hell froze over. You talked about how cold it was leaving the pay-per-view on Saturday. I mean, it's only fitting. Hell fucking froze over on Saturday, so I totally get it. But where do you fall with this? I mean, like RJ said, the fact that Rock came back on that SmackDown a couple of weeks ago was so fucking random. I mean, Cody was doing the whole thing with Solo, which thank God they moved away from, because that would have been awful to run that back at this point. But Rock coming back with the whole, I want you to be my champion, blah, 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 felt really odd, because they haven't really built towards this in a while. I think this kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if this was the plan dating back to October, but they can make right on this and kind of tie it all together with everything that you mentioned, Jamie. So was it the plan, or was it not the plan, in your opinion?
I think I think in this era, it's definitely more believable than maybe 10 years ago. But I mean, yeah, like the whole thing. Actually, it's funny you mentioned Solo and Cody. I completely forgot that was even a thing. Like I thought that Chamber, like it was going to be Cody and Solo, and I was
Oh
like,
God,
okay,
thank
well,
God not.
that's
Awful.
what I had originally thought.
Yeah.
And then they were doing the whole thing with The Rock, and then I was like, okay, I guess we're not doing the Solo shit anymore.
Yeah.
And I, again, totally blanked on that one. But do I think it was the plan all along? I think that WWE likes to drop hints, even though nothing is finalized. Like, yeah, The Rock doing the 3, like that might have been a thought they had, but nothing was ever set in stone. Like, it's not the first time they would have like cemented something like that and then not deliver on it. Because like everybody thought that at WrestleMania 40 last year, like when Rock was beating the shit out of Cody, and Cody drew or Rock drew color on Cody. Like they had the truck in the background and it was Cena and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And like Cena showed up at Mania and Austin didn't. That wasn't really like an announcement. That was just more of like a, hey, look what's back there. But I mean, again, that, you know, you could kind of go in there with the tease because Rock held up the 3 and then suddenly that was, you know, there's Cena. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think this was the long-term plan? It's hard to say because Cena also said in his retirement announcement that they got something big planned or they got something big going on. Or
Interesting.
He made reference to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this was it, or maybe they were just, or maybe he was just saying that just to to drum up some interest.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but this definitely does not feel like a last minute plan. You don't turn the biggest babyface of all time on the day of. Like you don't plan that shit the day of. Like that's days, if not weeks in advance. I want to say they probably had that in the cards when Rock came back on SmackDown.
Okay.
To announce Mania and the whole segment.
Yeah.
Like maybe as far back as that.
Yeah.
Further back, maybe not. But
Yeah.
I would say like it's probably been in the books for maybe at least 2 weeks. But
I would agree with that. You definitely October I'm skeptical about, but I think totally February when Rock came back and he kind of pivoted, you know, that classic word that he likes to use. I do think they pivoted, and honestly, I think this is probably for the better. I think if we were always getting Cena Cody, and Punk could still work his way into that match. I mean, he's having the match with Rollins next week. I think the obvious idea is Rollins, Reigns, and Rollins, Reigns, and Punk in a triple threat match.
Yeah.
They could get Punk into the other triple threat match instead with Cena and Cody. Still possible, and I would not mind that. He has the favor still. He can finish up things with Rollins next week. Roman comes back. We get Roman and Rollins one-on-one. I like that idea a lot more because at least Punk is involved in the main event finally, and it makes sense. He went after Rock and Cena on Monday, to your point, Jamie, when you mentioned that earlier. A lot of different ways this can go. But I do think this was the plan as of a couple of weeks ago. Alexis did say in the chat, first of all, she said, hi, Jamie, a little bit earlier on. So hi from Alexis.
That's my cat's tail in the way.
I could see that. Very nice. Alexis also said, let me see. She said to you, RJ, she said she has a one-way ticket to hell because she spoiled the outcome, the Cena heel turn. So she still feels bad about that.
Good.
And then Tyreek Cunningham said, I think they fell ass backwards into this. Also, howdy, peoples. Tyreek, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. I think they fell ass backwards into this as well, at least in the last couple of weeks. And so Daniel had mentioned, RJ, I'll ask you this. He had asked, I mean, I guess this came out this morning and I didn't see it. Did you see the Meltzer report about Cody being the legit Rock's first choice for this angle? But he said no. One, did you see that? And two, do you believe that? I mean, Meltzer's very hit or miss. Is that the fact? Is that the case? I mean, maybe I could see Rock wanted to go with Cody, and that would have been fucking stupid. I think that would have been even dumber than the Cena thing. The Cena thing they can make work. Turning Cody at this point would have been absolutely ridiculous. We talk about Cena being so over and so beloved. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. That would have been way worse, in my opinion. So, did they make the right choice, at least with going with Cena being the heel, Mr. Marceau, instead of Cody?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, if you turn Cody heel, who is you gonna? Well, you gonna have him go heel and Cena just be babyface Cena. I mean, like Jamie said, like if Cena was gonna turn, at least you're gonna do it now, and there's more like speculation, like maybe this is not his last year because now he's heel and maybe it'll extend it a little bit longer. I mean, I think if he did Cody, like, I mean, I think people may have liked it just because I think a lot of people, not that they're sick of him, but like he's kind of just been like the babyface champion, kind of just like whatever. Just, I mean, it's the way it is sometimes. But I think Cena turning has way more money in it and has way more interest than if Cody turned heel.
Well, let me ask you this as well. I mean, Jamie had mentioned this earlier. A lot of people have said Cena winning the his record-setting 17th world title should be a babyface moment, and really, in reality, it is. But listen, another big question that a lot of people have now, including myself, I am very worried. I'm glad they did the turn in retrospect. We won't get the follow-up until that March 17th run, about a week and a half. Hopefully new music and entrance, and they just go all out with it. That's my other thing. If they're going to make this work, make it go all out, like Jamie had said. New music, new gear, would love that. That being said, though, is this going to be short-lived? Do they turn him back at Mania? He loses, and then him and Cody make out afterward, and then, Cody retains the title, and then Cena, shows him respect, and blah, 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 blah. WrestleMania 29 all over again. We get babyface Cena back as soon as WrestleMania. I think that would be an absolute fucking waste of one of the biggest angles, to Jamie's point, that they have ever done, the biggest heel turn in WWE history. I think that'd be an absolute waste. Are you worried of the same thing, Mr. Marceau? And obviously, to that point as well, does Cena have to win at Mania? Because to me, the answer is yes.
Worried? No. I wouldn't say I'm worried. I think you could still wrap it up and, like you said, like maybe eventually do turn it back face. Like he could say, even though I sold my soul, I need to go back to my hustle, loyalty, and respect to like finally get the job done. I mean, I would say like why waste that moment to go like turn back babyface after 2 months? I mean, I kind of feel like you're kind of in that bed now. Once you turn him heel, you kind of have to. You made your bed, you kind of have to sleep in it now. But I guess you could do that. I wouldn't specifically, but I think, like you said, if he lost to Cody, similar to like 28, he's on the ramp, fucking stunned. He like sold his soul and he still couldn't beat Cody. And then, like you said, like I sold my soul, I still couldn't win. I'm gonna go back to my principles, hustle, loyalty, respect, and then at the end of the year, he can win the belt. I wouldn't do that specifically, but I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I just think there's a chance that could happen. I think Cody would honestly maybe get booed for that. If you really want to get Cody booed, I think you have him win and have him retain the title on the 1-year anniversary of when he won the championship. I think this is the right time. I'm not sick of Cody's reign. I think he's had a great reign, but I think if you really want to switch things up, you put the belt on Cena for a few months. Whether Cena can really have a great run at this point in his career remains to be seen, but you have enough challengers between Punk, like Jamie said, among other people. A lot of obvious opponents if you want to go down that route. So, Jamie, I ask you as well, do you think it'd be a waste? Based on your head nod earlier, I'm going to take that as a yes, that it would be a waste. But give me your thoughts. Why should they not turn Cena back as early as WrestleMania? And like you said earlier, does he have to win at WrestleMania 41?
I think he should win at WrestleMania 41. Do I think it would be a waste if he didn't? Yeah, I do. I really though, like, how do you turn the biggest babyface of all time heel and have everything behind him, include like not just the machine, but now you have corporate Rock? Because let's be honest, Rock has kind of taken the spot of Vince at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I think because Rock's was are now even more incoherent than Vince's were now sometimes. But yeah, I think he's got to win at Mania now, and it doesn't. I mean, it's gonna be like a face moment for sure, but I think him winning as a heel is gonna mean so much more. Just because because everybody always thought that like, oh, when Cena wins, it's going to be this great big moment. He breaks the record, all the big hoopla. And like, don't get me wrong, like he's still going to get all the big treatment. He'll get the pyro, he'll get the confetti and blah, 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 whatever. But he can still do it when he's a heel. And I was going to say like, when's the last time that we had a heel and Mania, but that was literally 2 years ago at 39. But,
yeah.
But But I think what happens is that Cena wins, and this is how you treat him in his last year. I say you have him continue be heel. I don't think he turns back at Mania. I think that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think you turn him back eventually, because you don't want to end his career on him being heel, because that's not how people are going to remember him. Don't get me wrong, this is how a lot of people are going to remember his final years, like, holy shit, look what happened. He turned. But I think he wins at Mania. He holds it for a bit, and he does essentially, what he said I think it was with CVV back last year, where he said, I would show up less, I wouldn't work as hard. He would basically be like, I'm going to hold this belt and see you later. I'm going to go back to my movie set. I'm going to go do this, yada, yada. And that's how you're able to spread his dates out. This is the other thing about and like, that's the other thing too, like, that plays into the heel run right now, or like the turn anyways. He showed up on the Raw premiere on Netflix, and he left. Didn't see him until the Rumble. Then he left. We didn't see him until Chamber.
Yeah.
And now he's gone again. Like, this is the other thing that people aren't really kind of cluing in here, where it's just like, well, he's only showed up, this is 3 times now in his retirement run, and now we're into March. Like, you would because, like, I didn't expect him to work every single week, but you'd think that, like, if he's still holding up the mantra, that he would be here a little bit more. But I think he holds it till, I want to say, maybe SummerSlam, maybe early fall. And then I think we start, because eventually we're going to start seeing a bit of like a dissension between Cena and Rock.
Oh, of course.
Because they were rivals for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit just doesn't go away. So, and my buddy Simon, who was with me at Chamber, he had mentioned that he said that he thinks that potentially, maybe down the road, and like, this is further on down the road, like closer towards the end of the year, but maybe, like, it'd be wild, but maybe do like Survivor Series, War Games, Team Cena versus Team Rock. I doubt Rock would do a fucking War Games match, but Cena doing a War Games match, I could see.
Maybe, yeah.
But Rock picking his best 5 guys against Cena and his 4 guys, like, maybe do something like that.
Yeah.
Because there is rumor too that I think in December they're going to be doing like a John Cena like PLE send off. Ruthless Aggression, I think is what they were going to title it. And then that's where you do like, then that's like the official swan song, Cena's last match, full on babyface, have him face whoever, like that. You can pit him up against anybody. Yeah. I think it should be Randy. That's just me. If he doesn't have a feud with Randy during the title reign that I think he's going to have after WrestleMania, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that match has got to happen at some point. No, I think especially for Cena's final match, that would be awesome. But I don't know what would be more cool, doing that as Cena's final match or doing it after Mania if Cena was champion and you have babyface Orton versus heel Cena. That's fucking surreal. So I think that alone would be crazy.
That's the other thing too. Like, we're living in a timeline where CM Punk cut a scathing face promo on a heel John Cena and a heel Rock. And like, that's the other thing too. Like, now it's good to relive these feuds. Go back and feud with Punk. Go back and feud with Orton. Go back and feud with
AJ Styles,
Right, because they're all faces. Now, like, the deck has been reshuffled. Now you can go back and do it,
dude. He could have.
Now it's more intriguing.
Well, he's retiring, of course, in December, which I'll go back to in a second. But this is why I'm saying I feel like it should have happened a while ago, because you could have gotten all of these feuds had he turned in like 2020, 2015. He could have extended, like Hogan extended his career by God knows how many fucking years by turning heel in '96. Had he never turned heel, he may have been done a lot sooner than that. But, I mean, at least we're getting it at all. I don't want to complain too much. At least we're getting it, And it should make for a fun final year. I agree with both you guys. I think turning back babyface and Mania would be incredibly short-sighted and stupid and premature.
Bad.
I do think he has to win at WrestleMania. I do think he retires as a babyface, like Jamie said. I do think he wins the belt before the year is through. I think he should win at WrestleMania and hold it for at least a couple of months. Daniel had asked, is it still a waste? And Tyreek, I'll go back to your question in a moment. He had asked, is it still a waste if he loses at Mania but stays a heel? I mean, no, it's not a waste, but I just think that would be the wrong call. Because then what do you do with heel Cena after that? You know what I mean? I feel like there's just so many different things you can do. And Tyreek also asked, what would be a bigger waste? Cena losing at Mania and immediately going back face, or Cena beating Nexus at SummerSlam 2010? Definitely Cena going back face at WrestleMania. The Cena beating Nexus thing was awful, but I mean, Cena going back face at Mania would have been way too premature as well. So there's so many different directions they can go with this. I do want to ask you, Mr. Marceau, about IYO SKY because we have a limited time with you before I got to let you go. But any more thoughts, Mr. Marceau, before I let you go in a little bit? I'm going to ask about IYO SKY in a moment, but any more thoughts on the Cena thing before we move on? And we can always go back to this later.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you both keep saying like Cena needs to win at Mania. I mean, I think he could. I mean, I still think he could lose. You still keep him heel, and like maybe he does go feud with Punk and feud with Orton. And guess what? He keeps trying to cheat or be a heel, and he keeps losing. And maybe one of them gets in their head like, hey, you were the 16-time champion because you did the hustle, you had the loyalty, you had the respect, you're trying to cheat and do these things that aren't you. And then eventually he loses these guys to eventually get back to being babyface, eventually win the title. I think that's a possibility. I think you could rehash those things and he still tries to be the heel Cena. And guess what? It doesn't work. And like you said, he hasn't won a match in 2,000 days. I mean, so now we just expect him to beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? I mean, there should be some kind of build-up there. I mean, I don't think him not wrestling for another 2 months to go into Mania and then he just beats Cody. I mean, I don't know if I love that idea, but...
Well, now he's got the machine behind him. Well, I mean, he's always had it behind him, but now he's got the corporate machine behind him.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about Rock helps him win? I could see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't love that, but... I mean...
I hope Travis Scott takes a fucking Crossroads because, my God, him being there was so strange.
RJ, he injured Cody Rhodes. He gave him a ruptured eardrum. I know you thought he was. I know you thought it was funny that he was out there, but a lot of people have. There's a lot of heat on Travis Scott right now. What do you say to that?
I mean, I could care less. Who cares?
He's got to eat at Crossroads.
Got good heat. Who cares?
Hey, he's got to eat at Crossroads.
I mean, technically the show was sponsored by Fortnite, and Travis Scott is arguably like one of the biggest celebrities to be on Fortnite.
So, he's a massive. Yeah, no, he's a big name. Yeah, of course.
That's the tie-in there. So
yeah. Well, let me ask you this, both of you guys. I'll give you one quick question here, and then I'll ask about the EO thing before I let RJ go. But if there's a third man, Jamie, who is it?
Oh God.
One name that comes to mind. I mean, I'm saying if there's a third man. I'm not saying there should be or there will be. Is it Punk, Orton, someone new?
I don't know how I would feel about Punk.
Drew? Rollins,
I could see just because he's been kind of like going into the descent the last few months.
And he helped Cena win.
Kind of explain it.
You know?
Yeah, he did help Cena win. Rollins would make sense. It also wouldn't be the first time that he sold out.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, who's better at selling out than him? Yeah, Rollins maybe. I don't know if there is a third guy. I hope to God it's not Travis Scott.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, RJ had also said, man or woman, people are saying Bianca goes heel. Maybe she's the actual one behind the Jade Cargill attack. I don't see that. I mean, we talked about it literally last week. Bianca's not going heel anytime soon. But stranger things have happened.
I wish she would.
I
wish she would.
I would be great to see. We know she could do well in that role. RJ, is it Bianca? Is it someone else? If there's a third person, who do you think it should be or would be?
Yeah, I kind of like hinted the woman because I feel like that'd fit Bianca perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, putting her with Rock, I guess Cena. I mean, Cena's kind of random, but like her, Rock, I feel like Travis Scott. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like she'd fit well with them as a heel. Like, I can just kind of see her NXT. Like, if you just kind of modernize, like, so made it more corporate, I feel like she'd fit in perfectly. Not sure exactly how you'd get to her and Jade. But like you said, I guess, like, she could sell her soul to then finally win at Mania and win the belt. So I mean, I think Rollins, if I was picking a guy, I think would probably make the most sense. Jamie, like you said, I just feel like Rollins is kind of twisting in the wind right now with his character. I feel like probably could use a change. Punk, I wouldn't want to do that. Drew, I don't love that idea either. I would say Bianca would be my number one.
Okay.
I think Drew is too predictable. Just because that's him.
Yeah.
It'd be Bianca, Rollins. I'd be cool with Jade too. Like maybe they stage the whole thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Too. Yeah.
I could see her being like the corporate champion or a corporate champion. I actually didn't really think of that. I mean, that's definitely possible as well. We're all thinking Bianca or Naomi. Maybe it was Jade the entire time who kept herself out so she can get a 3-month vacation or whatever the fuck. So
maybe
they're thinking something that we're not. So it's totally possible. But we talked about Bianca. We'll go back to the Cena and Elimination Chamber stuff a little bit later on in a couple minutes after Mr. Marceau takes off. But RJ, got to ask you about this. We talked about Bianca. She is now facing IYO SKY at WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship. We got a title change to the close Raw this Monday. You fell asleep before it happened. Thankfully, I did not spoil it for you. No one did. You enjoyed it when you woke up on Tuesday morning. And we got a new Women's World Champion. Give me your thoughts, brother.
Oh, I was ecstatic. I was gonna stay up. I had like the Jey Uso like night terrors. Like I'll stay up late again. She's gonna lose, so I might as well just get like a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I can watch her get riptide 1, 2, 3 in the next morning, and I'll be fine. Get some good quality sleep. So I woke up, jumped on Twitter. I saw your text. So your text not like they gave it away, but like I'm like, okay, something must have happened. Like maybe like it was like a DQ and she's gonna be in the match. Didn't think she was gonna win. So then I go on YouTube, and I think it was just like Bianca or Rhea versus IYO. So then I just watched the last like 6 minutes of the match, and when she like went for the riptide and like reversed into Hurricane Rana, I literally started yelling. And then when she hit the moonsault, I was like, no fucking way. I mean, definitely a big stunner. I mean, I do think eventually we'll turn into a triple threat. I'd be highly unlikely that Rhea will not be involved at some point. I mean, I guess like she really doesn't have a gripe. Like her being distracted by Bianca was all her fault. I mean, she went out of her way to like get in Bianca's face. Obviously, like they got in a little shoving match. She kept bragging or like see it Mania, and then she lost. Like
that was her fault.
Not like Bianca really cost her anything. That was all her fault.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there will be a triple threat because like I said, I don't know what else to do with Rhea at Mania at this point. So, but IYO winning was a pleasant surprise. I mean, the crowd was like in fucking awe. Like people had their hands on their heads, so shocked. I was right there with them, but I thought IYO not being on the Mania card herself would have been criminal. I've been fighting that on the show for the last 3 weeks. I assume Triple H listened to my rant 3 weeks ago and finally was like, you know what, IYO needs to be involved. So I was just ecstatic, and it was a great ending to a solid, like I said, the Elimination Chamber overall was good, and a great surprise here as well on Band of Raw.
Yeah, I texted you when we were talking about it on Tuesday. I owed an Alexis an apology because she got the Cena heel turn right, but I also Triple H and I also owe him an apology. I didn't know his game, pun intended, as we now have a new Women's World Champion in IYO SKY, significantly shaking up this build that we thought would be predictable. Cena goes heel, IYO wins a belt, literally clean too. I know Bianca kind of distracted her, but it's not like she fucking cheated. Triple threat at Mania. I mean, obviously, RJ, IYO's reign's going to be short-lived, right? I mean, she's losing the belt at Mania. She's probably going to be the one getting pinned, but at least she's in an important match. I do think Rhea and Bianca one-on-one is the stronger match, but the triple threat will still be good, and maybe they can hold off on Rhea and Bianca one-on-one until next year. So I don't really think this is a bad thing, because if they were to do Rhea and Bianca now, which it looked like we were getting after Chamber, it would have felt too rushed.
Yeah, I think we're going to get, like you said, I think IYO probably really want Eni the pin. I'm not, like I said, not that I love that, but like, I mean, at least she's on Mania. At least she's on the stupid tag team match that you've been booking in your head for 3 weeks. So
yeah,
that's better than anything. Before I get off, I will say we talked about this on Tuesday too. I'm still surprised. I mean, hopefully get this week, but no Becky appearance yet.
Nope.
Lyra beat Dakota 2 weeks ago. Just beat Ivy clean on Raw. She kind of like held up the belt. I was waiting for the music, got nothing.
Me too.
I seemingly think there has to be some return, or like, what are you going to do with her for the next month and 2 weeks? And she beat the 2 foes that she had in front of her clean. Hopefully at Madison Square Garden we get that, but
So
I don't know. I'm holding my breath, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
So my section at Chamber. So when Jade came out and attacked Naomi, everybody was thinking like, "Oh, Naomi's out, and we're like Becky,
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
that's
didn't happen.
interesting. Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was just, and like I thought, like if we don't get her by next week, I'm thinking night after Mania.
Yeah.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be.
That's what I was
Or
going to say.
unless if she shows up at Mania. But here's the thing, like a lot of returns don't happen at WrestleMania. It's usually saved for the Raw after.
Yeah, of course.
Which, historically that seems like that's how they always do it.
Mhm.
Because the Raw after Mania is like WrestleMania is like New Year's Eve on the WWE calendar, and the Raw after Mania is New Year's Day.
Mhm.
So like that's kind of how that they've always done it. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking if we don't get her MSG next week, the Raw after for sure.
I agree with both of you. I feel like if it doesn't happen Monday, it's probably not happening on the road to WrestleMania. Otherwise, it might feel too last minute. But we'll see on Monday. I'll be thinking of you on Monday, Mr. Marceau, and Becky does or does not come out at Madison Square Garden. We shall soon see. But brother, thanks for joining as always. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sure I'll talk to you next week. Obviously, we'll catch up on everything that we did not talk about today. We'll catch up on it next week.
All right, see you later, guys.
All right, brother. Take care.
Good chatting with you, man. Yeah.
All right, Jamie Lee Mack. Happy to stay around for a little bit and discuss some more from Chamber and whatnot.
Oh yeah, of course.
Let me get your thoughts.
Anywhere to go for a couple of hours?
Hey, listen, Jamie, I could sit here talking to you all day.
Oh yeah.
But let me ask you, IYO SKY, new women's world champion. That obviously fucking shocking. The Cena heel turn a little bit more shocking, but the IYO SKY just a little bit. But the IYO thing, even more so for me, because like you mentioned with the Cena thing, I'm thinking, Cena's still in the ring. Would they actually do it? I mean, obviously that in and of itself is shocking. I legitimately, even when IYO SKY hit her finish on Rhea, I'm thinking she's gonna kick out. Like no shit, she kicks out. There's no way she wins the bell, and then she fucking does. So,
oh man, the second that Rhea turned around and said "See you at Mania," I was like she's losing. that 1,000%. And it's funny too, because like I had the stream paused for like a minute because I was watching. I think the Leafs were playing San Jose that night, and of course we fucking lost in a shootout. I won't get into that, but anyways, I had it paused because I was more focused on that for a second, and then I turned it back on. Thank God I didn't go on any app because I would have been spoiled.
Yeah,
because I thought I'm like, Rhea's probably going to retain, and then IYO wins, and I was like, hell yes, I was very happy. I would have been happy with either because I think Rhea Ripley is awesome. I think IYO SKY is amazing. I don't want to say, I mean, yeah, you could probably say underrated. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but like she's fucking immaculate in the ring. She's one of the best that they have. And I was so ecstatic to see her win. And I think if you don't count the mid-card women's belts, because they just got introduced within the last couple of months, I think people are saying that makes IYO a Grand Slam champion because she's won every women's belt.
Yeah.
I think now.
I think so.
So, yeah, she's won the NXT women's title, the NXT tag team women's title when it was still around, WWE women's title and the women's world title. I think that makes her a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I don't. But but yeah, it's awesome to see another accolade for her, and I'm intrigued to see where this goes for Mania. Like, it's probably going to lead to a triple threat. I don't know how I feel with having 2 triple threat matches on the card because it seems like Rollins, Reigns, Punk is the direction that they're going in. But I mean, hey, if that's what they want to do, like I'm not opposed to having Rhea, IYO, and or IYO, Rhea, and Bianca in there, like if that's what they want to do, because multi-person matches can be a bit jumbled, but I don't know, like they usually get it right more often than not. So I mean, hey, I'm in for it. So
yeah, no, me too. I think if they can execute this properly, it can end up being a lot of fun. I agree that the 2 triple threats I'm not fond of. I say lazy booking, but I mean both matches make sense. I just don't want to repeat, as a lot of people have said, of WrestleMania 2000, where every match is like a multi-person match. I don't think that's going to be the case. We already have Charlotte and Tiffany. We have Jade and Gunther. I don't think that's going to happen. With the matches that need to be...
I mean, it seems like we're going to have a lot more like one-on-one matches anyway, because it seems like they're leaning towards AJ and Logan, which which I think is going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority where I think Logan Paul is an excellent performer.
He is. Whether you like him or not,
person?
he's great.
Probably not, but yeah, he's very, very good.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to get Kevin and Randy, which is interesting because they were in the same match last year, and now they're having a one-on-one match this year. So, and they just did unsanctioned, so I'm not really sure. Well, Kevin and Sammy did unsanctioned, which by the way, the lighting for that match in like seeing that live, amazing. I wish they had that lighting for every fucking match, because there were these two bright ass lights. Yeah. There are these two bright ass lights in my face for a fair amount. I won't say majority, but like every video I took and every picture I took, like, well, one, I had to zoom in because it's like, I was close, but my phone didn't think I was close. So I had to zoom in, and I had to zoom in really close to get the brightness of it, like to kind of go underneath it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was incredible. But yeah, they just did unsanctioned with them, so I don't know if they do match type with them, if they do no holds barred or something like that. They all, I don't know, just call it something. Street fight, no DQ. It's all the same damn thing at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, no, that match was amazing. We'll get back to that in a couple moments. A couple chats I did want to get through real quick from a little bit earlier on. Tyreek Cunningham said, if Cody retains at Mania, where do you think he goes from there? I mean, that's what I was asking earlier. I was talking about Cena, I guess. We didn't really talk about Cody. If Cena retains, or if Cody retains, rather, I mean, there's people he can face, obviously, but I just feel like that is the point in which people are going to start to slowly turn. You do not want to get to that point. I feel like the minority here, like I said earlier, of those who have enjoyed Cody's reign. I'm not sick of it. But even like when Bianca was champion for a year, I mean, when she hit that 1 year mark and she beat Asuka at 39, even I'm thinking like, okay, what are we fucking doing here? Like, she's beating everyone. I wasn't a fan of that. Now people are starting to, she's back to being overly beloved.
I think, and this is the thing about Rock, and I've noticed that The Rock likes doing shit in threes. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Because
the original series, yeah.
So the original series, he had a 3 Mania deal, 27, 28, 29, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this Mania, he appeared last year, 40. I assume he's going to be a part of it somehow, 41. If he's involved with Cena, he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah,
somehow.
Obviously, yeah.
I think this leads to 42 next year, and it's finally Rock versus Cody.
Okay.
And I think that is where Rock calls it a career and says, that's it, I'm done.
So no Rock Roman.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, has the ship sailed on it? Like, it seemed like they should have done it. What year was it that they had it locked in? 39. And then it just
reportedly,
went away after that.
Yeah.
39, yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, unless if they want to do it in like the year after, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if the ship has sailed on it. I'm not saying that there's no interest on it, but it also depends on what Rock wants as well. Mm-hmm. Because they've done this thing with Rock and Cody now for over a year, and Rock, by technicality, has a pinfall over Cody.
Yes, he does.
So I don't know, like, if they want to go back to that somehow, but I think next year we get definitively Rock versus Cody. Now, I could be totally wrong, and that's not his last one. Again, I could be very, very wrong. But I don't know. It seems like that's what this is kind of leading to, I think. Because I think taking the belt off of Cody at Mania is the right call, because like you said, you don't want it to get stale. I don't think it's stale right now at all.
No.
I think getting it off him now is the right call to make, just because like you want to have him be the chaser again, because people are still going to get behind him. It's like, oh, he's not champion anymore. Well, he's got to get it back. Now, when that is, I have no idea. Cody may not even be the one to take it off of Cena. It could be somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like, who knows, right? Like, and again, we can sit here and banter back and forth about who that could be, but But yeah, if Cody retains, I don't know where you go from there. I don't think that's the right move at all
No,
to
I
make.
agree.
Honestly, like I think fans are going to slowly start to get out on him, and that's not what you want. And I think Triple H is definitely the right guy to look at that and go, yeah, we don't want to have a rehash of what Cena did for 20 plus years. Not saying that Cody will be there for 20 plus years. He's almost 40 now. Like, that's also something that we have to accept. But yeah, I think Hunter's been around long enough to gauge that and just go, okay, like, this is the time to take it off him, let it cool off for a bit. All right, let's get this shit back going. And like Cody can start feuding with somebody else after Mania too. You know, like it can be, and or just because like, you know, we thought that maybe him and Roman will keep going after 39, and then he went right into a program with Brock. But you know, like they could kind of do something like that again with somebody else. But
Yeah.
Again, but yeah, I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here. But but yeah, I don't think Cody retaining is the right call to make.
No, I think and if he does retain, I honestly have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of people on SmackDown that he could still feud with at some point, depending on who you turn. I mean, him and Orton obviously is still an option, but you would have to turn Orton imminently. I feel like that's more of a SummerSlam match anyway. And there's also the rumored draft, which I'm just going to come out and say is an absolute fucking waste at this point. I mean, we just had a superstar.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on the fucking draft. Don't get me started on the brand extension because it doesn't exist. It is a figment of our imagination.
Of course.
It is not real.
It is what it is at this point, but to hold another draft is just comical. We just literally had a transfer window.
The closest thing I have to a brand extension is on 2K, and I make sure everybody follows the fucking rules on that universe mode.
Yep.
Just make sure that it works. Which, by the way, GM mode is going to be online this year.
I saw that.
Fucking cool as hell.
That is awesome.
And if we don't link up somehow with that, it'd be great.
Are you Xbox? You're Xbox, right, Jamie?
I have Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so I played on PlayStation. Alexis has an Xbox.
I do not discriminate between consoles because the console war is stupid. Very stupid.
It's as a figment of our imagination as the brand split.
I was very pro Xbox when I was younger. I was young and naive. I am now older and wiser. Console wars are dumb. They both essentially do the same damn thing. Play the games you like to play. Doesn't matter what platform is on. That's my stance.
You said earlier Cody and Rock at WrestleMania 41, but Jamie, Dwayne told me that these stories, they don't always have to culminate in matches. Are you telling me that he lied, that we could still get Cody and Rock?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
That's what Dwayne told me. I don't know. That's what Dwayne said.
I also think Rock likes to put his foot in his mouth quite a bit.
Yeah. You don't say.
I mean, it doesn't culminate in a match is very silly.
Yeah,
considering this is the world of sports entertainment.
Yep.
This is not Days of Our Lives. This is wrestling. I don't know if you saw the second W in your name stands for wrestling.
Yeah.
Should end in a match. Like I said, what I said is a prediction. It does not mean that it is true. Look, as much as I would love to see a Rock and Cody match. I would love to see it because of the story that they have been telling here.
Yeah.
Rock was able to get the biggest babyface of all time to join his side. Like, that's fucking wild. I think it should. Will it? Up in the air at this point. I don't know.
We'll certainly see. I don't know. Anything. Listen, based on what we saw last year and this year with the many different pivots, it's more pivots than in goddamn basketball. I mean, who knows what we're going to be looking at next year? It's really anyone's guess. But I think it was Tyreek who had mentioned a little bit earlier on, because we were talking about how Rock and Roman, I had mentioned reportedly was the plan for Mania 39. He had even mentioned, I forgot about this. Not only was it just reportedly going to happen, Rock even confirmed that was going to happen on Pat McAfee's show a couple of years ago. He said that was the plan for 39 because he put in quotes, pencils down. He's like, oh yeah, we couldn't figure out a plan that made sense for me and Roman. So let's put I have a pen in my hand, but we're going to put our pencils down. And the funny thing about that quote in retrospect, and I've said this before, he said we couldn't come up with anything that really made sense for us to get to Rock and Roman, which it wrote itself. But they went to it last
I was
year.
going to say it doesn't. You don't have to write anything.
No.
Everything's right there in front of you.
And the best part about it was that when they did end up going into it, or they were going to do it last year, it made the least possible sense to do. When Cody was about to get his Mania moment, they did it at the absolute worst possible fucking time. They could have done it at literally any Mania in the last decade, and it would have made more sense than it did last year. Even this year,
they recreated the shot at Chamber, which I didn't see because I was too focused on what was happening in front of me. But they recreated the shot where they shot behind Rock to the look on Cody's face, where last year was the look of utter heartbreak and disappointment, and this year is just the look of like utter rage.
Yeah.
Just because he told him to go F himself.
That was
which,
great.
By the way, that hit so hard.
I forgot to talk about that. Yeah.
Everybody lost their mind, including myself.
Did you think that was bleeped on Peacock when you were in the building?
Did I think it was?
Yeah. Because it usually is. It wasn't on Peacock, obviously.
I wasn't. Well, if you go back and you watch it on any platform, it's not bleeped.
No, it's not.
Anywhere.
It is not.
Anywhere. Yeah. It's the first uncensored F-bomb in WWE history.
Yeah. Yes, it is for a PG
and
product.
Then you have, then you got people like Jeff Jarrett, who said yesterday, like, I was so unnecessary, so unneeded. I'm sorry. You have a guy like MJF dropping F-bombs every 5 seconds on Dynamite, and no one bats an eye. But yet when Cody does it, it means something.
Yeah.
It's the first uncensored one that they've ever done. That's how you fucking do it. You don't have a guy going on there dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and then just have it be meaningless. Be like, it's just another promo. But here it meant something. It hit you. It hit you like a fucking brick.
No, that was incredible. Honestly, I think that was more shocking than the heel turn itself. Like, I'm completely serious. I mean, the Cena heel turn, at least we kind of expected. Not expected. I'm sorry. There was a chance that it could happen. The right. F-bomb, no one thought like that was actually going to happen.
Oh, man. I thought that when Cody started talking, it was going to be a little bit more drawn out, but it was short and sweet and to the point, which is what I loved. And then when he's like, hey, Rock, go F yourself, I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. And now, did I think it was censored on there? I thought there might have been a chance, but then I went back and watched all the clips afterwards when we got back, and I was like, it's still there everywhere. I'm like, it's there on TikTok, they're on YouTube, which, by the way, they uploaded the whole full segment to YouTube. When have they ever uploaded a segment from a pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it? Have they ever done that right after a big show like that ends?
Not a 17-minute segment.
No, a 17-minute segment from a pay-per-view. Yeah. I get it. You don't pay for it anymore.
Yeah. Still,
But still, like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's over. Hang on, let me check. I think it was
over 5 last night, I think. Over 5 million.
It was over 5 when I looked at it.
Might be at 6 now, but might be at least 5.5. This was last night when I saw it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. You type in John Cena, and the first thing that comes up is heel turn.
Yeah.
5.9 million. So they're probably going to reach 6
million. That is fucking insane.
That's insane. That's nuts.
That is crazy.
For a 17-minute video, that's crazy.
That is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, we are in, like, I get it. Like the term new era has been thrown around a lot within the last year. But man, like, starting with last year, like, genuinely, this is a brand new era.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
I'm happy that guys like you and me and RJ, like, have been around long enough to see this company creatively the lowest they've ever been.
Yeah.
And now they are soaring to heights that I never thought were possible. Like, this is bigger than Attitude Era. I don't give a shit.
It was a pretty big moment.
Breaking.
Yeah. We're reaping the benefits of having watched for so long and having to sit through the dog days of 2013, 2014, 2015. Nikki Bella dying the womb shit.
I'm a 31-year-old man who has been made miserable in his 20s because of this company.
Yes.
And now I am happy as fuck in my 30s because of this company.
You know, John Cena, that quote's been going around about him saying, from the Dark Knight movie, if, you can either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I think it's the opposite with WWE Creative. You either die when it's, I don't know what the exact quote would be, but you either quit when it's awful or you live long enough to see it actually get good. And I feel like we're in the latter category now. You know what I mean?
We are. Dude, it's incredible. Crazy. Like, when I was younger, I used to make it a point. Okay, I'm going to carve out time. I'm going to watch Raw. It's Monday. Because back in the day, it started at 10 o'clock here. It was fucking late. Because we are in Atlantic time, which is an hour ahead of Eastern time.
Oh, okay.
And if you go to Newfoundland, it's even weirder. They're a half hour ahead of us. So
That's
it's like
weird.
10:30 there.
Interesting.
It's very strange. Maritimes are a very bizarre place to be. Anyways. But yeah, like it used to start at like 10 o'clock when I was younger, and then it moved to 9 later on. But yeah, like I used to carve out time every week. Hey, watching Raw tonight.
Yeah,
I used to do that with SmackDown too. And from like, I want to say from like 2016 onward, I kind of just stopped. I became like that guy that was just watching clips on YouTube and on Twitter, like just kind of catching up that way. And, like I would watch like the pay-per-views, obviously, because those were always fun. But I didn't really care to watch every week anymore. Now, I think it's, man, especially with the Netflix deal, like I don't know how it airs in the US, but in Canada, we don't get ads at all.
We have ads. Anywhere. We have a lot we have ads. That's
really
cool. Yeah,
you guys
we
have
get ads.
That's fucking wild. I didn't know that.
I think most, honestly, I don't know about other countries, but I think most countries outside of the U.S. do not have ads for Raw and all this other shit.
Get a VPN, get Surfshark or VPN Nord or VPN Nord or NordVPN, one of them. Switch it to Canada or anywhere because you get nothing.
Yeah.
If anything, it'll cut to, so if they're transitioning into an ad, it'll fade out. And then it fades right back in to where the action left off.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like, it's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, dog, we are reaping the benefits here. And I'm so glad because Canada got fucking shafted with the network.
Yes, you did.
We did. Rogers got the contract, and we had, not only we have to pay for cable, we had to pay an extra $15 a month for the fucking channel. And at the start, we didn't even get all the fucking backlog. We didn't get all the video library.
Yep.
It was so stupid. But now it's so much better.
Now you're lucky. Now you're getting to see
Netflix now.
Yeah, now with no commercials during Raw.
Except I have one gripe to pick with Netflix though. They are slowly adding in all the Raws and the SmackDowns, but are they ever taking their fucking time?
No, the same thing here in the U.S., yeah.
Okay, good. It's not okay. All right,
well, I mean, so the SmackDowns, I think, are all still on Peacock, but the Raws are gone from Peacock. Okay. The Raws currently would not exist anywhere, do they? Exist in the ether. You cannot find them anywhere currently.
That's so sad.
I know.
I was on a watch through. I started in 2018. I started a watch through all the Raws, all the SmackDowns. Like I timelined it.
Yeah.
With all the pay-per-views and everything. Because I wanted to go back and relive it. Because like some of this shit that I never saw. Because Raw started before I was born. Mm-hmm. Raw started January 93. I was born in October of 93. Mm-hmm. So there's a good chunk of history that I didn't see. So I wanted to go back and watch it. I was on 2003. And then they took the shit off. Everything went to Netflix. I was like, okay, Netflix is easier to navigate. This is fine. And I go there. And there's like, there's 5 episodes from 2000. There's 3 episodes from 95. Yeah. And I go, what the hell is this? And I'm like, I don't want to start in 2022.
Yeah.
I've already seen this. I don't care.
I know.
But anyways, yeah, that's another gripe for another day. But
there's no timeline either, like you said. They're not like, oh, yeah, we'll have all the Raws up by the end of the year. They have no fucking clue. It could be another 5 years. We have no idea.
Oh, God. And like by then, I won't have the patience.
And by then, they might not even be on Netflix. Maybe they'll sign a new deal. And I know they said they signed a 10-year deal, but I think there's a 5-year out clause. So
5 years out.
Yeah.
I think, they have the option to opt out of 5 years. And then they have the option to extend it to 20 if they want.
Holy shit.
Which from the way that it's going, I mean, again, it's very early. We're only 2 months in. But, I mean, if they keep trending the way they are, Raw's constantly in the top 10. SmackDown's constantly in the top 10.
That's
so
good.
It's not like it's not getting watched.
Yeah.
At least in Canada. because that's the only kind of stat that I have to go off of.
Yeah.
At least from there, like it's constantly in the top 10, like I said, so like it's being watched. So I can't say that it's not, but
yeah, I've seen the reports saying, oh, the ratings are going down, it's down 50% from what the Raw Netflix debut was. I mean, I totally get that. I will acknowledge that, but
that's with any show though.
no, of course. I mean that is what it is. I don't know. I just try not to put too much stock into it. Same thing with Dynamite. I mean, the ratings are what they are. They're in the toilet. But listen, just give me a good fucking product, dude. I don't give a shit. I mean, seriously.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't care.
The ratings were higher 4 times. They were 4 times higher in 2014. Does that make it a better show? No, the show was garbage at that point. So, like.
Also, the thing with Raw being there now is that now that it's not the same length every week, like they're kind of hitting that two and a half hour mark.
Yeah.
Well, not only is it that much better and so much more streamlined, but now you don't know when the finish is coming.
Yes, correct. That's what I like about the new Raw runtime. Yeah.
Because the IYO, like for example, like the IYO and Rhea match, like if I was looking at the clock and it was like, let's say for example here. Like, let's say if it was like 11:57, and I'm like, okay, they got 3 minutes left, like the finish is coming. There, I had no idea that IYO was going to win right then and there. It's like we said before, like Rhea could have kicked out, and I go, I don't know when the finish is coming.
Yeah.
And it was like, bam, she wins. Like, oh, holy shit! Like, again, there's just so many advantages to this. Like, I love it. I like, it's so much better.
So much better than it was.
Traditional TV.
Yeah, it's not like it was 10:58 in your Eastern time anyway, and you're expecting, oh man, the match has got to be over because they got 10 minutes left. It's not going to end, and then she fucking wins. So definitely one of the benefits over, especially with SmackDown being 3 hours. Like fuck that shit,
Yeah, whatever.
I'll go back here in the chat a little bit. This was mentioned a little bit earlier on, but I think Daniel and Tyreek both said actually. For the third man, we were talking about the third man. Like, could it be Rock, Cena? Who could join them? They both mentioned Logan Paul. Thoughts on that, Jamie? Could you see that happening?
That's possible for sure.
I feel like it's got to be. I mean, that's not a bad idea because he's a corporate guy. Blah blah blah. But the issue with that though is that then if you were to do that, those are 3 guys that will not be run every week. Rock, will not be run every week. Cena, we know is not going to be run every week. And Logan,
I think Logan will be working more dates than the both of them.
He will, and even he's not around every week. So
no,
I feel like you would need a full. I know he calls himself a full timer. He's not a fucking full timer.
No.
But was he on Raw this week?
Then again, like they're not. Like it's a little bit easier now because they're not running shows every week like they used to. Or like they're running TV every week, but they're not like, okay, it's the weekend now. We're gonna go over to fucking. We're going to go over to this state for a weekend. We're going to hit up this city because, like, it used to be a brutal schedule, and now it is so much lighter. Like, I think they're going to the UK this month, and that's, like, the first set of live events they've done since Christmas, which is, like...
I believe so.
Oh, my God, that's incredible for them.
Yeah, they get so much more time off now, which is nice. I mean, I would like them to come around, like, to the Northeast a little bit more, but we were spoiled for so long. If they give the wrestlers more time off and whatnot, then... I certainly can't complain personally, so it's good for them. They get a pretty good schedule now, which is nice, and they're still going hard.
Oh, they do.
But it was also mentioned a little bit earlier on. Justin, I'm not sure if he's still here, but he had asked earlier on in the chat, when do you guys think that Rey Fenix debuts in WWE? Any guesses on that, Jamie? I'm thinking after Mania. I mean, it could happen before, possibly, but when do you think that happens?
After Mania is a good guess. I think if he's ready to go, have him in the Gable storyline.
Do you think Gable comes out with the mask, by the way? I feel like that's got to be the end game to this storyline. Because I think on Monday he had to open up a box or something. I feel like there's got to be a mask in there.
It's got to be something. Maybe a mask that gives him powers or something.
Like some Lucha Underground bullshit. I would love that.
Luchador powers. That'd be funny. That would be very funny.
What about a Mr. America mask? That's what I've seen some people say.
If he comes out with a Mr. America mask, I'm doing a moonsault off my house. Yeah, I mean, him wearing a mask makes plenty of sense, I think, especially with this whole thing. But Wasn't there like a teaser in that little segment that they did with Gable where like the word like brother was in there somewhere?
Oh, I
And like
didn't pick
people
up
were
on that. If
thinking,
so,
and like people were thinking like, oh, if it's brother, then it's maybe Ray Phoenix, because it was Penta
maybe
that he was feuding with. I
that is
believe
true.
so.
He was feuding with him for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
So Ray Phoenix showing up, and then maybe Ray shows up, thinks that, and Chad thinks that he's going to be with him, and then he says, "Nope, we're actually related." And then turns around and beats the shit out of, which, if they do, poor American, all they do is lose.
Yeah, I like the group, but they lose a lot.
That's my thing too. I'm like, this group is so good, but they lose so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the issue.
Yeah, definitely got to win a little bit more than they do. We were talking about Becky Lynch earlier, and you mentioned like coming out the night after Mania, which I could totally see. If she's not back next week, it's probably after Mania. But Millennial Newman mentioned no Asuka appearance as well. He had mentioned she's pretty much going to be saved after WrestleMania 41. Do you think she shows up the Raw after Mania, or do you believe the report? I think it came out from Body Slam. She might be gone for another couple months.
I was going to say, isn't she out for longer than
That's
that?
what I thought. Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't rule out an appearance from her after WrestleMania.
Oh, hold on. I think I lost you. Give me a sec here. I think we lost Jamie. I think your mic or camera, Jamie, is disconnected. So when you come back in, let me know. If you can still hear me. We lost Jamie there for a second. But I think we're still live here, so if we're having any... if you guys can still hear me, be sure to let me know in the chat. But until we get Jamie back, I'll read off some of the chats here. Nathaniel had also said, I hope to see John Cena win WrestleMania number 17 as a heel at WrestleMania. We had said the same thing a little bit earlier on. I hope that he comes back winning the championship at Mania as a heel. I think having him lose would be a mistake, honestly. I feel like they have to have him win a WrestleMania. And otherwise, I mean, they could do what RJ had said, have him lose and do the whole redemption arc. Totally possible. I just feel like it makes for a bigger moment for it to happen at Mania as a heel. I feel like that, to me, would just make for a bigger moment. Daniel had said a little bit earlier on, if his Hollywood endeavors keep flopping, like some of the recent projects, I think we are going to get more wrestling Dwayne. Maybe, hopefully, I guess just, my advice would be don't go see Red 1, 2, don't go see Jumanji 5, don't go see San Andreas 6, and then maybe we can end up seeing Rock a little bit more than we do. I guess the key to Rock coming around more often is his projects flopping. Maybe that's why he wasn't around for so long, earlier than he was. So yeah, definitely don't go support Rock shit, because there's a good chance that, that he might come around a little bit often than he does. Let me see here. Elsewhere in the chat, Alexis had said, my coworkers told me they've been seeing John Cena stuff all over their social media. I mean, it's been the biggest thing over the last couple days. So honestly, it doesn't really surprise me. I've seen a lot more memes about it, and I've heard a lot more people talking about it than just your average wrestling angle. So it was a really, really big deal that kind of transcended wrestling. That more people are talking about than just the wrestling bubble. So that's been cool to see. Tyreek had said, and I'll go back to the older chats in a second, but Tyreek had just said, actually, Jamie was talking that good shit, TBTB, and then said, that's enough, LOL. What does TPTB stand for? That's funny. Yeah, the stream just cut out on him for some reason. I don't know. Hopefully we get him back. It said that he left from the video that I'm in right now. Hopefully he can come back, unless he had to go. I don't know. I don't think it would have just cut out like that. So I'm not sure. Hopefully we see Jamie back here in a moment. But let me see. Going back a little bit in the chat, Daniel had said, hold on, I have to backtrack a little bit. I already read Daniel's thing. Tyreek had said earlier on, Rock saying things do need to culminate in a match was one of the dumbest things, or do not need to culminate in a match, I think is what he said. It was what you mean to say. Is one of the dumbest things I've heard someone say out loud in wrestling in a long time. It was a pretty fucking stupid thing to say. And then Daniel also had said, I didn't know Jarrett said that. Respectfully piss off on that. Double J. Going back to what Jamie had said about what Jeff Jarrett had said about it being unnecessary, that he was that he had dropped that F-bomb. I think, Jamie, I got you back. Let me just give me a second here. I think he's connecting his audio. Let me just put him in the solo thing so you guys don't have to see me. There's Jamie. All right. Let me know. I think you can hear me, Jamie, but let me know when your mic is starting to work again. But until it works, let me just read the next chat here. Tyreek had said, even Cody haters I know popped up when he dropped that F-bomb, LOL. Oh, they popped, not popped up. They popped when Cody dropped the F-bomb? Yeah, I know. That F-bomb was fucking great. Whether you like Cody or not, that was an amazing moment. You can't deny that. And Alexis had also said in the chat, love the setup that you got, Jamie. I'll throw that to Jamie in a second. He's laughing, but I don't know if I can hear you. Jamie, can you say something real quick? All right, he's still testing his audio. I still can't hear you, but just whenever while you're testing it, just keep saying shit out loud, and then when it eventually does work, it'll, I'll hear you, and I'll stop talking when your mic gets working. But yeah, Alexis.
How about now?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, my laptop decided to have a heart attack and reboot. I don't know why.
No, it's totally fine.
Suddenly my headphones were like disconnected, and I was like, "Oh, why?"
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't hit anything, so I went, fumbled around with cords, and I was just like, "Fuck's sake!"
That's funny.
I was like, usually my stutter hits me really hard on podcasts, but I'm doing really good today. Why is this happening now? But no, anyways, I think we should be fine.
Yeah, no, I think we're good now. I can hear you fine. We can see you fine. I got you back in the video setup.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Alexis, for the comment about my background.
I don't know if she can see it. We were talking about this before we went live earlier on. But behind Jamie, he had posted about it on his Twitter. So go follow him, first of all, at Jamie Lee Mack. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show. But behind him, next to the controller light-up sign, is the CM Punk belt. He got that when he was at Elimination Chamber weekend this year. Just a fantastic fucking belt.
Hang on a second, I'll grab it.
He's going to go grab it for us. Just a great belt. And you've probably seen WWE Shop post about it. And he had it in the, which I'm going to end with a little bit later on. Yeah, talk to me about the belt, Jamie.
So they made, I believe it was like 2,000 of these.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But when I went to the store, and I found this out after I had purchased it, they only brought 10 with them.
Yeah.
And they sold out all 10. Actually, if you go back and watch Chamber or watch the SmackDown before, like they did like a little like ad brief of the store.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back and watch it, like they show the shelf where all of the belts are, where the Elimination Chamber briefcase is, which don't ask me why they made a fucking briefcase for Chamber. That I saw a couple people walk around with it, and I was like, that's such a weird thing.
I know, just go buy something else. I don't know, buy a shirt or something.
Buy an actual Money in the Bank briefcase if you're gonna do that. But
I know. Anyways. They were in fucking Toronto for Money in the Bank. Why do you need Elimination Chamber Money in the Bank? That makes no sense.
I have no idea. But anyways, so where the briefcase was, that was where this was. So like this wasn't the one from the shelf, but that's where it was. And I remember seeing the clip of it going, holy fuck, they sold out.
Yeah.
So, and what I love about this is like the spinner is so satisfying.
Oh, that's so cool. And I said to you, Jamie, before we went live, that should have been the belt they used 13, 14 years ago.
That would have been sick. Yeah. And also, they had photo ops there as well. So we met Chelsea Green.
Yep.
R-Truth, which wasn't planned. We actually did that the night before because I was just looking at like who else was left there.
Yeah.
And I saw Truth. And he was like, taxes in, it came to like $70. And I said, let's meet R-Truth.
Yeah.
He's so fucking cool. He's so entertaining. He's the funniest fucking guy that they've ever had on that show. And yes, I'm saying that in knowing damn well Santino exists. Don't get me wrong. But I remember, because early on they had announced like who was going to be doing like photos and whatnot. And like they had like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte and Chelsea Green, and like they had a few others. Liv Morgan was also there, which we probably would have got, but the problem was that she was on Sunday and we were leaving Sunday, so we were kind of like mess with the times a little bit, and we would have got home way later than we wanted to because we were driving. Yeah, I drove 14 hours to buy this fucking thing.
14 hours, that's nuts.
14 hours from Fredericton, New Brunswick to fucking, we stayed in Pickering.
Okay.
which is in the greater Toronto area.
Mm-hmm.
But it was essentially a 14-hour drive, and I would do it again, just because this has been my number one hobby for 31 years.
Yeah.
Like, right. But when they didn't announce everybody like at the start, but then I just remember there was one day I was at the gym, and the chat that we had with me and my buddies that I went with, one of them had said, "Hey, they just updated the list," and he was looking through it. He sent a screenshot, and he was like, "They added Punk,"
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even think about it. I just went boop boop boop, bought. I was like, I don't give a shit how much it costs. I'm meeting this man.
Yeah,
because he's in my top 5, if not top 10 of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now, like, don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't like a meet and greet session. We didn't get like a few minutes with them. It was very quick, in and out, because there was
that's how
a
those
shit
things
ton of
work,
people
yeah.
there, which is what they are. It was really cool. Fist bumped him up there. My buddy Brandon that was with us, he bought the modern day world title.
Okay.
And he had that with him, and Pug just asked him, "Sup, champ?" And then like he saw 4, or like the 4 of us, because you were allowed to have up to 4
That's
people,
cool.
or to 4 people with you. And he just said, "Oh," and Punk had said, like, "Oh, this is the 4 of you guys," and Brandon goes, "Yeah, the boys," and then Punk goes, "For the boys." And then I was by him, and then I didn't even notice, but like he had his arm around me and he was touching the belt, so I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. I was gonna say, did he say anything about the championship? That's cool.
He didn't say anything directly to me, but I'm sure that it was something that he at least appreciated
noticed,
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, it was great.
That's
it was
awesome.
and this is probably the most expensive thing I own, but you know.
Hey, listen, for the memories alone, it's worth it. That is fucking
Oh,
awesome.
that's just it. That's just it, right, man? Like, here's something that I've been kind of saying now for the last few years. You can always make more money because memories are priceless.
Mm-hmm.
You can always make more money, and I know that's easier to say for some than most, but man, like when you have the chance and it's right there in front of you, just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm not saying go out and lease a fucking Mercedes. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying just like, if you know you can swing it and you know you can do it, do it. If it's something that you want or something that you want to do it. Don't let don't let anything stop you at all.
Take Jamie's advice. Wise words from Jamie Lee Mack here in WrestleRant Radio.
That's me. That's what I'm here for.
Always love the Mac being back here on the show.
Older and wiser.
We'll wind down a little bit. Just going through these last couple chats here. There's a whole bunch that people sent in, so we'll go through these here. But Tyreek did say a little bit earlier on, he said, "I know kayfabe in many ways is a thing of the past, but how do you guys feel about the non-wrestling outlets like ESPN using the terminology of turning heel?" I mean, it doesn't really bother me personally, just because we're at a point. Is there a level of me that thinks that they shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff? Sure, but I'm not one to say like, oh yeah, they shouldn't be saying that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm not a mainstream media outlet, but like we talk like that shit all the time. Like we've been doing that on podcasts for years now. Mainstream outlets talking about turning heel and stuff. I mean, kayfabe is dead. If Rock can go out there to the fucking press conferences and talk about, I'm going to turn heel and this was such a great idea. At this point, who even gives a shit? But does it bother you, Jamie, to hear that sort of stuff about, turning heel on ESPN and whatnot? And I mean, kayfabe is dead, but in many ways, it's still alive to some. Kayfabe is still alive to some people. So give me your thoughts on that. Right. Does it bother you to hear that sort of thing?
No, it doesn't. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, it's more. That's going to be a bigger headline grabber than Cena goes bad or like Cena does something bad, like it's a headline grabber.
Yeah.
And honestly, like wrestling terminology has been used quite a bit in the mainstream for the last, like, I want to say decade or so. I mean, I've at least I've at least heard it be used before. Like, he's turned face, he's turned heel. So like, I think most people understand it now. Like, I don't have any issue with it. I could see maybe someone like Jim Cornette having a problem with it. I could see, one of like the old school guys maybe having a problem with it. But man, it's 2025. Everybody know this shit is scripted. Everybody know this shit is predetermined.
Yeah.
It's not as sacred as it once was. And that's not really WWE's fault. That's our fault, because we just happen to, we hear about these different phrases and these different terms, and now we just start using them. So I would say it's more the fans that did that, but I don't have any problem with it. I mean, like, it's also like, I mean, and also too, like, it's not like we work in the company as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I think it's worse when you hear people like in the company talking about it, like the public press conferences and stuff. But at the same time, like my issue with that sort of stuff is when they go to the press conferences and whatnot, they talk out of kayfabe and then they're also in character. Just like pick one or the other. That's kind of my thing. It's not really consistent. So I mean, it's 2025. It's not that big of a deal, but if it bothers you, I can understand that. But Daniel also did say in the chat, he said, "Hey, cheers to us 31-year-olds, Jamie, LOL." So Daniel's 31 years as well, 31 years old as well. And he also had said, he goes,
appreciate it.
He goes, "Man," in all caps, "I had wanted to watch the Raw after Mania 17, and Netflix only has like 10 episodes from 01 right now, but of course they have them all from 2022 onward."
I actually took a picture on my phone just of like, because like it's hard to go and look at like what episodes they have and not know which one's which, because like they're not all titled like regular shows. They're dated.
Yes.
Right. So I just took a picture on my phone and I just matched the numbers with how many episodes there are, and that's how I know, okay, they've added new shit.
Oh, there you go.
I took that picture over a month ago and there's still nothing. So I'm like, okay, what's the point? But I do know they're adding a few more pay-per-views this month to Netflix. So I don't know, like, do I think they're going to do a mass fucking dump of like Raw and SmackDown on there that day? No, but will they add more? Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Navigating the episodes on Netflix is simple, but it's not at the same time. Like, it's simple just because, like, click here, drag down menu, here's everything.
Yeah.
But you don't know if anything new's been added because they don't label anything as new. Like, or like they might say recently added, but you don't know what's been recently added. Like,
yeah,
you
exactly.
just kind of have to guess and go, I don't think I saw this last time. But it's strange. I mean, if you want to watch 2022 onward, like, you're golden. They have everything, but yeah, they don't, like, for people that want to go back and watch like the older episodes, like they have a couple of landmark episodes, like where 1-2-3 Kid pins Razor.
Yeah.
Like, they got the Bret Hart 1-2-3 Kid match from '94. Like, they got like the beer truck episode with Austin. Like, like they've got different little ones like that, but they don't, if you're looking from anything from like 02 on, like, you're fucked. There's nothing there. Like,
yeah, no, they're completely gone. Hopefully at some point they get re-added, but it might not be for a very long time.
it's going to be, I think it's going to be more than a year, which is shitty.
Yeah, that is shitty. I mean, considering that
I wish they would just come out and say, we have intention of putting everything up there. If you would just tell me that, I'd be like, okay, cool. At least I know. But you haven't said anything.
No.
And it sucks because I think it's a very small group of people that want that older content. So
that's the problem.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the issue.
It doesn't serve a greater purpose to them. They're not going to get a whole lot more new subscribers just because they have the old content at this point, and especially if you went through it on Peacock, or rather on the network or on Peacock. But also the difference there, though, is that with having all the old content up and whatnot. I mean, having it up at some point, it could be up next year. It could be up in 5 years. It really
You have to
serves no
think
purpose.
too, like, you have to think as well, like they have to add in like subtitles for shit too.
Yeah.
I would assume that stuff might be more AI generated now, so it may not be as daunting.
Yeah.
But like they probably have to get, if there's like Spanish commentary, like they probably want to add that into.
You
or
would
something
think,
like
yeah.
that. But,
yeah. I mean, the biggest issue with it is that we had it literally, like we had it one day and then the next day we didn't have it. You know what I mean? Like
like had I known it was leaving, I would have made more of an effort to watch things.
It was very last minute. Yeah.
I didn't go, and like the shitty thing is, like, I wish I had gone back and watched Nitro. I wish I had gone back and watched like ECW. I wish I'd gone back and watched like AWA. I wish like there's all these like different forms of content that I wish I could go back and watch. Like even the original like network shows are gone. Like you can't watch Legends House. You can't watch.
Well, I mean, on Peacock, it's here for us in the U.S., but yeah, for everyone else,
okay.
Yeah, I think.
I think I just need to get a VPN.
Yeah, talking about the VPNs for us, U.S. I think, Jamie, you might need a UPN as well, or VPN, not
Maybe.
UPN. UPN, isn't that where SmackDown used to have UPN back in the day?
It was, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
back in the day. Yeah.
Millennial Noob had said American Made is made as cannon fodder. Yes, they are very much cannon fodder.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Fernando had also said Asuka's not coming back until around SummerSlam. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think she comes back the night after Mania. Could the reports be exaggerated? Sure. I think it's real, though, so I don't think she'll be back for a while. Boogs Cruz also said, yeah, Netflix needs to step up their on-demand game. I miss the network every day because of the library. I mean, we haven't had the network here in the U.S. in almost 4 years, but you guys in Canada and a lot of other countries, Jamie, had the fucking network like a month or two ago until they closed it. And here's the funny thing. I only just recently started using a service that supports VPN, so I can do the VPN thing. The problem is I only started doing it like in November, December. And I was gonna sign up. Exactly. And I was gonna literally, because I was in Canada for Elimination Chamber, obviously 2 years ago. And RJ and I don't know if I made a fake, I don't know what I did. I definitely used a VPN, but I don't know if I made a WWE Network account or something. I must have, because we watched No Way Out 03 while we were there that weekend on the network. And like, I can't access the network here in the US. It was fucking awesome.
That was the last.
It was amazing. And
no, that wasn't the last pay-per-view before then. That was Breaking Point.
Yes. Yeah, and in Montreal, we don't talk about Breaking Point, okay? We don't talk about Breaking Point 2009.
No, we don't have to.
Tyreek had said while you were gone, he had said Jamie was talking that good shit, and then the powers that be said, that's enough, LOL.
That's right. No more.
Rock heard that and shut you off.
That's right. Rock doesn't want to hear the gospel.
Ahmed said a little bit earlier on, Sup Graham, am I here on time? This was from earlier. Ahmed, you're a little bit late, but you are just joining us here at the end, and you can go back and watch the rest of the stream, and the audio version will be up on the WrestleRant Radio podcast feeds in a little bit, so you can check it out there. But RJ did join us for the first hour, talking Cena's heel turn and the IYO SKY title win, so if you missed that, go back and check it out. Tyreek also said, with all the press that the heel turn has gotten, do y'all think it was a mistake that there was no follow-up from Cody, Rock, or Cena on Monday's episode? Jamie, I'll start with you.
No.
It wasn't a mistake. Okay.
No, it wasn't. Well, I mean, Michael Cole even said on Raw that, like, there's going to be follow-up on SmackDown. Like, Cody's going to be there. So, like, we have that. Like, they want to spread it out as much as they can because they want to keep people tuning in. That's the whole point. They want to get viewership. They want to get eyeballs on the show. That makes sense. I'll be watching. I want to hear what Cody has to say. This is a fucking John Cena heel turn storyline. If he's not there, at least it's going to be talked about. So yeah, no, I don't think it was bad to not follow it up on Raw. If anything, I expected it not to be followed up.
Yeah, I mean, especially now knowing that Cena isn't going to be there for 2 weeks. Cody not being there is fine. He's a SmackDown guy. I think they should follow up on his part of the stuff, his part of the angle on SmackDown. Cena ideally should be on next week. I know he can't be. It would be nice if they had Rock on instead to kind of fill that void for next week anyway. Punk kind of filled the void on Monday. So we heard from Punk. That fucking opening promo from him was
That
amazing.
opening segment was, I just remember saying out loud, I was like, wow, that was fucking bananas.
That was great. So
And I loved it.
yeah.
That I was sports entertained. That was awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, I was a little disappointed that none of them were on the show. I didn't think Cody would be there. I knew Cena wouldn't be there. I figured Rock wouldn't be there. If they can have Rock on next week, that'd be great. I don't think he will be. If he was, they probably would have advertised that by now. But at least they filled the void this week with that Punk promo. Next week, honestly, they may not need to do too much. I think next week with the Cody eyes being on the Cody and Rollins thing, yeah, it is weird they're not really doing any meaningful follow-up on the Cena heel turn in MSG next week. That's kind of odd. But I think they'll be fine if Roman Reigns returns during that cage match. I think they'll be okay. They're advertising quite a bit for that show.
Oh,
If Becky comes back, possibly. I think not that no one will be thinking about Cena, but I think they can kind of make it better until he comes back, where I think they'll be okay.
Right.
So we'll see.
Right. I think if anything, we get Roman next week and he gets involved in the cage match somehow.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. And I think he'll probably cost Rollins, is my guess. Either during the match or something. I don't know.
It might go to a no contest. Like, he might just beat the shit out of both guys.
Yeah.
I can see that easily.
Especially if it's leading to a triple threat, yeah.
Right.
So, a couple different ways they can go with that. When you were showing off your belt earlier, Alexa said, wow, that's so cool. So she loved the belt. And she also said, Jamie, have you added to your tattoo collection after the Cody tat?
I have, actually. So which one to start with? This is Zelda.
Oh,
You can
nice.
see it. Yeah, I got that done. I can get the whole sleeve up. I got that done. When did I get that done? Last summer sometime. I forget when.
That's sick.
And this is Halo. So that's...
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I guess I'll just flex. So Master Chief, Arbiter. The energy sword from the game is supposed to go down the middle. I was supposed to get that finished yesterday, but the artist that I go to had to reschedule because his kid was sick and his significant other was working. So I said, you know what, man, after what I spent during Chamber, I said, this is probably a good call. So I am very much okay with this.
Did you get, what's the timeline for the Halo ones as far as when you've been getting them done?
So getting this one done in the summer, like, that was fine. I prefer to get them done outside of summer because, like, you know, if you want to do like summertime, like, activities, you know, being outside, being in the sun, you know, you want to go swimming and all that shit. It's good to keep them out of the sun when they're fresh like that because you want them to heal because it's an open wound. That's essentially what they are, and you want to treat them like they are an open wound. So you don't want to go swimming with it. You don't want to be out in the sun too long with it. You want to make sure they're covered up, but you also have to make sure that they can breathe as well because that wound's got to heal. So getting them done in the wintertime, winterish, late fall time is better because you're not outdoors as much, right?
Yeah.
So because at least here where we got dumped with a shit ton of snow and now it's raining like a motherfucker today and all the snow is probably going to get melted. But this one, like the Halo one, I'm hoping to have done relatively soon, maybe within the next month or so. I haven't really got a date yet, but hopefully soon.
That's sick. Very cool tattoos. Like Jamie said, he's a PlayStation and an Xbox guy. So if you missed that, he doesn't discriminate.
Yeah, I do not. Console wars are dumb. That is my stance.
Daniel
and
said,
and if you play on PC, that's cool too. I just prefer the convenience of console. I just have a MacBook and it's my wife's old MacBook before she got a new one because she's in school. I'm using her old one. I just use it for basic browsing. Like, it's basically like a second screen here because I have my gaming monitor here, and then I have a second screen here, and that's that's where I watch Raw, I watch hockey, all that shit on here. Like, honestly, like, if I just got a PC good enough to run shit like The Sims 1 and 2 and like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I'd be so happy.
Roller Coaster Tycoon's the shit.
I love Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Great fight. I spent many hours on the game back in the day.
Oh, it's so good. But which I'm sure this laptop could probably do. I just haven't researched it. But
yeah.
Eventually, I'll upgrade. Won't be anytime soon, but.
Daniel had said that Punk spinner belt is lit. Talking about Jamie's spinner belt. You could still see it behind him, obviously. He showed it off earlier. Alexis, in response to talking about meeting Punk, she had the exact same experience meeting Bray Wyatt. She said, how you feel about meeting Punk is how I felt about meeting Bray. I didn't have a lot of money to my name at the time and spent most of it paying to meet him, worth every penny. And obviously now he's no longer with us. So.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah.
And like I have actually, I still have the photo. I haven't gotten a frame yet.
Of you with Punk? Or all four of you guys?
All four of us.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I know your profile picture is just you two. That's
well, I mean, it was easy to crop out because like there I am and there's Punk.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Simple, but yeah, that's the four of us there meeting him, which was it's the only print that I got.
Yeah.
It was like an extra like $15 for it.
Yeah, I do that too. Like, I just get it printed,
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you pay that much anyway, you might
as
as well.
Made. Yeah, exactly. I got copies of them made yesterday, so
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Good shit.
Which I just need to get a frame for it.
That's sick. Get a nice like CM Punk theme frame or something like that. I don't know if they sell that shit on shop, but
I don't know, maybe.
I got to take a look.
If they do, I'll definitely get it.
Fernando said no child was harmed by Cena turning heel. People need to stop it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you say that first of all, it would be a good thing if kids were crying over it. If they're not, whatever. But if they were, that would be it's certainly not a bad thing. It certainly sells the heel turn.
I didn't notice any kids crying when we were leaving, but then
Good
again,
point.
I was such in a state of shock that I didn't really notice. So maybe there were.
Yeah.
Like, ask any of the guys that I went with. I was a literal zombie where I was like, it was like the unimaginable had finally happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I legitimately felt like a piece of me died.
Yeah.
Like and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
There's something I never thought I would see happen, whether it was on TV or not, but to be there to experience it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, that was their Bash at the Beach 96. It really was.
That was it.
That was the equivalent. Modern day for WWE, that was their equivalent.
Yeah.
Tyreek had said, do you guys see Roman getting involved in Cena Cody, which could potentially set up Rock Roman for next year? I don't think so. I think Roman will be busy with Seth and or Punk, probably both, if not just Seth one-on-one. Like Jamie said earlier, honestly, at this point, I don't think the ship is completely sailed on Rock Roman, but I just don't know how you get there right now. And he also has nothing to do with any of this. Rock coming back and being like, oh, I need a brother when he has a fucking cousin that works for the company is just comical.
Right.
And they haven't addressed that. But do you see Roman getting involved in this, Jamie, at all?
No, I don't think there's a place for him in that feud right now. I had kind of thought like, well, what if they did the whole tag team thing, and I was like, we did that last year. Like, I don't know if they want to rehash literally the same idea.
I was thinking that too, yeah.
And I was just like, look, the tag team match last year was great. I don't think it needs to be rehashed again with literally two of the same guy, three of the same guys, and one guy that wasn't there for it. But
yeah,
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, definitely not necessary. Daniel had asked, how long did it take for Peacock to add all of the Raws? It definitely wasn't immediate. I remember correctly. No, I think it was. I think when they got WWE 4 years ago here in the U.S., they definitely, I'm pretty sure, had all of the pay-per-views, and I'm pretty sure they had all of the Raws. If I'm not mistaken, I thought that was the case. If not, they had them all up pretty quickly.
Do they have all the Raws and the SmackDowns?
Well, I mean, they don't have the Raws now. When Raw went to Netflix, they took all the Raws off. Literally every fucking one.
Okay.
Some of the Raws. So what you guys have with the Raws on Netflix is what we have with the Raws on Netflix as well. So we have Raws on Netflix, but it's the exact same ones.
I've been looking out on Reddit too, just to see like if anybody had anybody that has any knowledge about it. Just because like Reddit's like the place to find an answer to literally anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same thing. Like everyone's just kind of like, what the hell is happening? But I mean, again, it may not be priority. I get it. Like they're trying to bring in new viewers, but It's a shame.
I get it.
But
It just
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. It just bothers me that, as someone, I like things organized. There's certain
Yeah.
SmackDowns, certain SmackDowns here, no Raws here, certain countries it's there, certain countries it's here. NXT, you can't find any fucking where. They took that off everything. It's on YouTube
Yeah.
now. They have the NXT Vault channel, but it's like, bro, like, where is this shit going? Pay-per-views are here. It's not organized at all. It bothers the fuck out of me. Bring back the network.
They have all the takeovers on Netflix, but they don't have any of like the original episodes.
Yeah.
Which is like they have 2022 again, 2022 onward. If you want to watch from there onward, you're fucking set. Everything's there.
Every Triple H era show, yeah.
Catch me. I don't want to look. If I happen to get to that in my watch through, great. If I haven't given up by then, but fuck, I don't want to watch it from there. I want to start from where I was at. It was an 03. I was just getting to Mania 19.
Yeah.
I want to fucking start from there.
That's tough. Yeah, no, that's 2022. That's so fucking. That's basically when Peacock. I don't know about Peacock. He was asking about Peacock. I know for a fact when the network started, they did not have Raw. I know that for a fact. They had every Raw dating back. So it started in 2014, almost exactly 12 years ago, 13 or 11 years ago from last week.
At the very start, they had every episode from 2013 at launch.
I think 2012, I want to say. But it was around there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I do remember there was a point in time where they were promoting. They were like, hey, we have every Attitude Era Raw. And I was like, okay, so they're slowly adding shit in there.
Yes.
And then one day I went on and I was like, fuck, everything's here.
Yeah. It took a couple years to be fair.
Here.
Yeah.
It did, which, we may just have to go through like the reset progress here with Netflix. It might take a little bit or, but it's annoying, but, it's whatever, I guess.
I just had more faith when it was on the network because it's the company themselves. Now that it's on
Right,
Netflix, doesn't give a fuck. Yeah.
Right. And searching things on the network was much easier too.
Oh yeah, don't get me started. Yeah.
Like if you were to search up like Randy Orton on Netflix, like you're not gonna it's not gonna pinpoint you to a match. Like you gotta fucking and like this is the other thing too. On the pay-per-views, they don't have shit labeled out by chapter. You have to fucking you just have to fast forward it yourself.
Yeah. That's how it was on Peacock. It still is that way on Peacock too.
Look at the little preview thing there. Like you just have to follow it and just see okay, this is the match that I want to see, which I get. They don't have that with any other movie they have on there. They don't have that with any TV show. I get it. They're probably not going to waste their time and do it. But I mean, again, wrestling fans were spoiled with the network.
Yeah,
we were very spoiled, and now it's not there, and now it's on Netflix. So we just have to go by the way that they're doing it.
Hashtag bring back the network. Tyreek had mentioned, UPN, the channel that used to literally be a bunch of black sitcoms and SmackDown. Haha. I wasn't watching SmackDown on UPN, so I can't say I can relate to that. But was that what UPN was?
I don't think we got it here, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Oh, right. You're Canada, right.
SmackDown. Well, so in Canada, Raw for the longest time was on a network called TSN.
Yes,
which was
I remember that.
And SmackDown was on a channel called The Score.
Oh, okay. The Score Network, yeah.
And The Score transitioned into Sportsnet. I don't know if there was a name before that, but Sportsnet right now is as far as I'm aware, it's the number one sportscaster in Canada. There's Sportsnet and TSN. TSN airs Dynamite and Collision.
Oh, okay.
So they have AEW here.
Okay.
And which they announced yesterday. Now we can watch the pay-per-views from them on Prime now.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
$56.99. Get fucked. I'm not paying that much for it. Again, WWE has spoiled me.
Yeah.
But anyways, and Sportsnet aired everything WWE was on Sportsnet. They had everything in one spot. So NXT was on there, Raw was on there, SmackDown was on there. And if you subscribe to their premium tier, you got all the pay-per-views. So that's how that worked out. But if you had cable, you could subscribe separately to the network. You didn't have to subscribe to Sportsnet and the network. You could just subscribe to the network for just a simple fee, and then that was it. So you literally had to have a cable subscription and then a network fee on top of that. So you were paying. So like if all you wanted was the network, like, you know, I had Bell, and Bell, like I literally, like, when I signed up with them, I said, give me your best internet and your shittiest cable, because there's only one channel I want.
Yeah.
So I don't care for anything else, right? And it was costing me around like $120 a month. And when the network went away, I was notified. They're like, hey, network's leaving, like, you're not going to have it anymore.
Yeah.
Which I knew. And like my cable bill now is like a flat like $100 a month now.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. I mean, that's basically like with internet. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but now, like, having everything WWE again in one spot, Netflix, okay, I just have to pay Netflix now and that's it. I don't have to, I mean, yes, I have to have an internet connection of some kind, but like I need that anyway.
Yeah.
So like paying Netflix on top of it, which we just have the basic, which I think is like $15-16 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So no different than what I was paying before.
Same thing.
And we get everything. I mean, not everything, but we get most of it.
Yeah.
Like if I were to go on right now and watch WrestleMania 17, I can do that.
That's cool.
I mean, I can also just do this as well.
Jamie with the classic DVD collection.
Because I was not a bum and I did not sell my fucking collection. And I'm happy I didn't, because now the network's gone.
Yeah, physical media.
Now my shit is worth something now. I mean, it always was worth something.
Yeah.
But anyways. But yeah,
that's physical media for you, baby. Don't throw away your physical media. That's
physical media is important.
I keep it. I'm the same way. I collect the DVDs. I still have fucking Super Showdown 2019. Now, will that be worth anything? Absolutely fucking not. But I still kept it anyway, just because. Why the fuck not?
Last one that I got. Oh, Brandon gifted me. Who was it? He did gift me Chamber.
Oh, that's cool. From 2 years ago? That's awesome.
Yeah, for Christmas that year, which I really liked. I was like, well, I get, it's the first pay-per-view that I had ever went to. So I'm like, yeah, of course I want this. But now they don't even make DVDs anymore.
They
don't.
I
think Crown Jewel 23 was the last one they made.
I think so.
Now I'm just kind of like, fuck, should I start a hunt and go for the ones I don't have?
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Which if I do, that's 8 years of content, because I stopped at 2015. So
yeah. That's 8 times 12, right? Because 12 pay-per-views a year around. So
yeah, something like
96 DVDs to buy of all those amazing pay-per-views.
That means I have to get another fucking shelf. I have no room.
Of all the shittiest pay-per-views from those years. So you can start collecting those. Speaking of which, Fernando even said Breaking Point, which we mentioned earlier, was more than trash. It was a burning corpse. That's not a great show. Not a great concept.
I have that somewhere.
All submission main events. 3 submission main events. I Quit matches, submission matches.
There we go.
There it is. That was the phase where WWE was going through shows, new pay-per-view concepts to see what worked and see what didn't.
2009.
That surely did not work. We had
a year for me personally that I loved WWE. I was very much on the fence. My dogs are crazy over something.
They love Breaking Point 2009.
I thought I trained them better than that.
It's a good.
I think I'm expecting something from Amazon.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
They're bringing you 96 WWE DVDs from the last 8 years. You said it,
Fuck
Brock.
Yeah.
Spoken into existence.
Fuck yeah, give it to me. I'll take it.
That was that year that WWE was the same year that brought you Hell in a Cell 2009, the first ever Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Yeah. As well as bragging rights and the first ever TLC pay-per-view as well. So, what bangers.
Never understood the fact Extreme Rules and TLC are essentially the same thing. I don't know why they had 2 shows that were like that. I never got that.
A lot of gimmick pay-per-views back then.
The idea of a chairs match was very stupid.
Yeah, it was fucking dumb. Some decent ones, but most of them were garbage. Never really understood that. Daniel had said, when we were talking about Punk earlier, he said, and people try to tell me Punk was washed on the mic. Child, please. Yeah, Punk is still he could still fucking go.
Fuck, he's probably better than he was before.
I honestly, it's certainly up there. Pissed Off Punk is prime Punk.
Getting it. Yes.
It's amazing.
I love Pissed Off Punk. Give me more of that.
That's great. Fernando had said, I think either Rock or Cena should have followed up with what happened on Saturday on Raw. I agree, but it's not that big of a deal that they didn't. I thought it ended up being a solid show anyway. Roman is definitely showing up, he had said, coming up on Raw this week.
Right.
Fernando said you should get a Veer tattoo next. That's an inside joke with us here on the channel. Alexis, long story short, just to catch Jamie up on Veer real quick. He was in a movie, The $1 Million Arm, because he's, are you aware of his backstory in the MLB or no?
Who's this? Sorry.
Veer, the wrestler from Indushir with Jinder. They got fired.
Yeah.
So he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates here in the U.S. and he was from India, obviously. Blah blah blah. They made a whole fucking movie about the guy like 10 years ago. He was a big star in India. WWE brought him in. Didn't really do much with him. Wasn't like the greatest wrestler, but Alexis and I joked that he should have been WWE champion. So now everyone in the chat is very pro Veer. So he wants to get a Veer tattoo. I'll get a Veer tattoo before I get a Jinder tattoo. I'll tell you that much. Are you a don't hinder Jinder guy, Jamie? I feel like you're a don't hinder Jinder guy.
2017 was, I think, one of the worst years creatively for WWE. So that's my answer.
There you go. Road Dogg Hayes back to writing SmackDown after writing in 2017. I don't think it's entirely his fault.
Here's my thing with Road Dogg though. Yeah, he might have been the lead writer, but Vince had the final say.
Yeah, I agree. I know that's worth mentioning.
Like people were like shouting to the heavens, like, why is Road Dogg back with the pencil? I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Vince was the filter, and he didn't filter everything right. We got a different filter now. We swapped out the dirty one. We got a new one in there. So just chill out. It's not all bad.
We'll see what happens on Friday. Yeah. We'll see what happens on Friday if it ends up being a good show or not. Coming off the Elimination Chamber angle that closed the show. Fernando had said UPN was a very diverse skate of shows before being diverse was cool. I honestly have no familiarity with UPN. Is that even still a channel here in the US? I have no fucking clue. I don't even know if that's still a thing or if they rebranded or not.
I was gonna say we may have gotten it here, but I couldn't tell you if I ever watched it.
I mean, that's going back to like 20 years ago when SmackDown was on there.
I was more of a Family Channel kid.
Yeah, no, me too.
Family Channel / that's basically, it was like the Canadian filter of the Disney Channel.
There you go. Okay. Basically same thing. He had also mentioned, lucky you, my cable bill is $300 monthly, including internet and Wi-Fi.
Holy
That's fucking
fuck.
Nuts. Are you getting every channel known to men, Fernando? That's nuts.
Is your fucking internet funneled through fucking NASA? Like, what the hell?
It fucking better be for that price. That's insane.
You better be able to download the entire library in like 10 seconds if your internet's that much.
That is wild.
You're getting reamed, my guy.
Yeah, seriously.
Then again, it might be different there. I have no idea.
It depends on the country, obviously, but that still sounds expensive, even to me as a US person.
In Canada, it's either Bell or Rogers. Those are the two main ones. Like there's like Shaw Direct and all these other like third party ones, but you're getting nothing with them. Like it's Rogers or Bell, those are the two big monopoly players. So like you gotta go with one or the other. Actually, it's funny because usually what happens is that you stay with one, then your bill shoots up by like $100, and then you call them and ask them what's going on, and then they tell you like, oh, it's for this reason and this and that, blah blah blah, and then you play them against each other, and then you're like, well, Bell screwed me over, I'm gonna go back to Rogers. Well, Rogers is now screwing me over, I'm gonna go back to Bell.
There you go.
And I remember when I canceled with Rogers, I remember telling them, I said, don't worry, I'll be back in a few years when Bell fucks me over, because they will eventually.
Yeah.
That's just it.
There you go. It's WWE, AEW. You just keep going back and forth, right?
Pretty much. Like, it sucks, but the consumer in Canada, like, you have to play them against each other.
That's crazy. Nick joined a little bit earlier on. He said, hey, guys, sorry I'm late. Nick, great to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining me, man. We're going to be winding. I said that like 20 minutes ago, but I'm reading the rest of the chat. So we'll head out of here. It's hard to say no to Jamie. Always so much to talk about. Physical media, bring back the network. We could have a conversation about this shit all day.
Oh, my God.
Fernando still said, I still have physical media and very proud of it. Goddamn right, Fernando. Yep. Join the club.
Yep.
Join the club with Jamie and I. It's fucking great.
There's still, there's still like movies like here and there that I'll just see on like Amazon, or like I'll walk by a bin at Walmart or something and it's like $5 and I go, yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah.
like, for which one was it? I think it was like, which one was it? I want to say it was like the Rundown. I saw it in a bin at
Oh, okay.
Walmart. It was like $4.99, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll buy that." I haven't seen it in ages. I've never owned it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Hell yeah, let's get it."
I think I did a ranking video of all the Rock movies the other day. I either saw Walking Tall or Rundown. I honestly don't remember. I think I watched the Rundown though, and it was good. I don't think I've ever seen
Rundown's
Walking
good.
Tall.
Oh, you haven't?
I
Oh,
don't
you
think
need
so.
to. Walking Tall. Walking Tall is one of Rock's better movies.
That's
I
what I've
think.
heard. Yeah.
It's way better.
Yeah. I still got to watch that one. I don't think I've seen that one, and I've seen the Rundown, but I'd have to watch it. If I watched the movie, I would probably be reminded pretty quickly.
And like the thing is too, like if you can't find it on disc, like just Google where it's streaming. You can find it somewhere.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. It's
Anywhere,
definitely the best
any
place.
one of the 18 fucking streaming services out there right now. So.
There's a whole fucking there's a shit ton of them. We were talking about 09 earlier. Boogs Crew said, "Sheesh, 2009, 2010 was horrible, but the guest host era will not be missed." He also said SmackDown that time was pretty nice though. Taker was still in his prime. SmackDown had some good stuff, but that guest host era, Jamie, I mean, we met shortly thereafter, but that guest host era was fucking terrible.
There's only like a couple of guest hosts that I really enjoyed, like
Bob Barker.
Bob Barker for sure stands out to me as
Yeah.
like the best. Like Barker was good, Seth Green was good. But like towards the end of 09, it was starting to get kind of like just not needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I mean, that was around the time too. Like WWE was trying to figure out different ways to, I don't know if innovate's the right word, but like trying to do something different, like, because like at that point, like TNA wasn't really a big, I mean, let's be honest, it was never a big threat to them. But like, they're always trying to change it up, trying to figure out what's what and like what's going on. And like, it was on paper, it sounds like a decent idea, but
yeah,
execution wise, it was like, why are these people here? Like Jeremy Piven.
What the fuck? Like, what even was
awful.
that? Yeah.
Bad. Yeah.
Crazy. I was laughing at this next chat. Fernando had said, this was from a few minutes ago. Fernando said, even the dogs know that breaking point was terrible.
That's right. That's right. They were voicing their displeasure.
That's how bad that show was. Johnny said GCW should do a barbed wire show. No thanks. If they do, I'm not going to be watching, so I'll pass on that one. RJ actually joining back. Or go ahead, Jamie.
Deathmatch wrestling is not for me. Like,
Me
hey man,
either.
if that's your thing, cool. I have very different opinions on it. Like all the videos that I see of like these people, like I saw a video the other day of just like these guys that were like standing on top of like a building, and they were doing some kind of like I don't know, like the guy had him in like a reverse like DDT, and like he lifted him up, and like they both just jumped off, and they went through, like they landed on the bed of this truck.
Oh my god!
And there was everything, and there's like everything you could think of that was there. There was glass, there was barbed wire, there was wood, and I was just like, every time I see that, I was like, and all that for $20 and a fucking hot dog. That's every time I see that, I'm like, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are short. I'm like, not only are you shortening your career, you're shortening your fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're accomplishing there. Like, I don't know what kind of, like, if you get the highest adrenaline rush from that, cool.
God bless you.
It's just not for me. I don't think it's for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, I can stomach GCW. Like, I can watch some of their stuff. Like, but that deathmatch one, like, that fucking match between, who was it? It was Swerve and
Adam Page.
and Adam Page. I hated that. I hated that match. And I know it's an unpopular thing. Because I know it was received very well. I didn't like it. The fucking needle thing shoving in the side of the mouth. That shit's so stupid.
Could have done without that.
Like,
yeah.
That's cringe. I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that myself. But love the matches. But yeah, like the bleeding thing when you see Swerve drinking the blood of Adam Page or vice versa, whatever it was. I think that was the first hardcore match they had.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just grew up on shit differently.
No, I understand.
I mean, then again, I grew up in the era of fucking bra and panty matches too. So
Yeah.
like
A different time indeed.
yeah.
RJ joining back in the chat. Canonically, he said stairs match, greatest match ever. Canonically, we joked that RJ's favorite match of all time is Big Show versus Eric Rowan. Chairs. That was a stairs match, not chairs match. Stairs match.
I remember they did the anatomy of the steps.
And then Big Show won, and that was it.
Every time my friends and I watch and somebody picks up the steps, I'm like, fuck, that's 2,000 pounds. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's fucking strong. You know?
That was the good old days of late 2014 in WWE. I'm sure, I'm sure we all miss it and we want to relive those Raws back in the Netflix era, but God darn it, we can't. So one of these days, hopefully we can. Nick had said in the chat, we sure Jamie isn't Kevin Owens' twin. And Alexis said, it's got to be the Canadian accent.
I fucking wish.
Have you met Kevin Owens, Jamie, or no?
I have not met Kevin Owens, no.
You met other
I
Canadian
remember
Chris Jericho.
Time, though. I did. I met Chris Jericho in 2015 at a festival I went to, actually. I knew it was Heavy Montreal. And I remember Fozzy was scheduled to play. I didn't know they were doing a signing after.
Yeah.
So I immediately went to the nearest CD shop that I could find and I bought Sin and Bones. And then I got them to sign it. I have it somewhere. I don't think I have it within arm's reach. Maybe I have it over there somewhere.
2015. That's crazy. I remember you met him.
I can't see it right off by hand. I know it's here somewhere. I got them to sign the insert.
That's cool.
Ship, which was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, meeting him, I was like, I didn't think I was going to meet fucking Chris Jericho. That was super cool. And it's been 10 years since then, which is nuts to think about.
God damn.
But no, I remember there was one summer where I buzzed my head for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was so nice because it was so hot that season. And I think, I don't know if it was right around the time that he was doing the Face of America thing. When he won the US title. But I remember when I buzzed my head and I had my beard kind of stubbled how he did. And I was like, fuck, I do kind of look like Kevin Owens.
Not a bad person to be compared to.
No.
Especially after that show steal or Elimination Chamber.
Pandas, so.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Tyreek also said earlier, he asked, do you guys think that Cena taps out at some point during this final run? I don't think he will. I think he should. I tweeted that. What about you, Jamie? Hasn't tapped in probably 20 years, since before the main event run, and he passed out to Rusev, but he wasn't.
I'm just wondering who he taps out to. Because Cody doesn't have
what's the submission?
Finish.
Yeah.
Punk has the Anaconda Vice. That's the only guy I can think of. I mean, unless somebody pulls out a fucking sharpshooter, maybe. But
yeah, unless Brock comes back and locks in the Kimura. But one, I don't need to see that match, and two, I don't think that happens. And plus, also, I know that Brock's coming back.
A heel Cena versus a face Brock would be interesting.
That would be interesting. There's other matches I would want to see before that, but
yeah,
maybe he taps in on. I don't know. He doesn't really gain anything from it because it's fucking Brock Lesnar, but. Maybe someone debuts a submission or something. I don't know. But it's an interesting thought, though, because it would be cool.
It is, yeah.
Tyreek had also said UPN/WB channels merged to make the CW. Oh, okay. So that makes sense. That's why.
That's where NXT is right now.
That's where NXT is now. It all comes back to that. Johnny had asked, you guys going to see the Queen of the Ring movie? I would like to. Alexis wants to see it. It's not really playing in a whole lot of places around us, but we got to go out of our way to watch it. I would like to. They were promoting it on Dynamite last night. Are you familiar with the Queen of the Ring movie, Jamie? And if so, are you planning on watching it?
I saw ads for it.
Okay.
I would like to, just because it's wrestling. It's shit that I get. Yeah. So absolutely I would.
Yeah. Fernando asked, which was worse, the weekly guest host or the anonymous Raw general manager? Oh, that honestly, that's tough. I'm gonna go anonymous GM because at least the weekly guest host shit had some highlights.
I'm going to say anonymous GM because the anonymous GM never had a payoff. At least with the guest host, it rotated every week.
There was a payoff.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
A payoff we don't want to talk about, but there was a payoff technically during the guest host there.
That had a fucking hard on for the Nexus.
That shit was awful. Then that da-da-dun has left rent free in my head for the last 12 years, 15 years actually. God, that shit was awful. Daniel mentioned Jeremy Piven gave us the Summerfest. Indeed, he did. That's his lasting legacy in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis asked, Jamie, are you a cyberpunk guy?
Sorry, I got a text there. I just read it there. Am I what guy? Sorry.
Cyberpunk guy. Sorry.
I've been playing it. I haven't finished it, but I am in the middle of playing it. I like it. It's definitely a lot better than it was when it first launched. But right now, I'm playing it on Xbox right now, and it looks really good. It plays really good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was an or I wish there was a vision slider on it. I think there might be. Maybe I just haven't looked in the settings deep enough. But I currently right now I am loving it. Like it's a very good game. Made one of the craziest comebacks that I've ever seen any game make.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how different of a game it is from when it launched in 2020. But yeah, no, it's fucking awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, no, when it first launched, it had a lot of issues, right?
I was littered with bugs. It was a very broken launch, but they've updated it a lot. They've patched it quite a bit, and now it's in I think it's in a beyond a playable state. Like it's fantastic. Cool. It's one of my. Like it went from being don't touch this game to you should probably play this. Yeah.
Now Alexis loves the game as well. Last couple things here. Johnny had mentioned Gangrel should manage Hangman. Hangman becomes a vampire. I mean, yeah, he likes the taste of blood. So I mean, honestly, why the fuck not? Gangrel popped it up in AEW last year. They can't use the music though. Fortunately, that's only a WWE thing, and the music is a big part of it. Johnny also asked, I'll go to Fernando's in a second, but Johnny had asked, what is your favorite cage match of all time? I don't know if I have one personally, honestly. Like, let's go steel cage. I mean, he put cage in lowercase, so I guess you could technically include Hell in a Cell. Do you have a favorite steel cage match?
My favorite steel cage match.
I feel like there's just so many of them.
I might be cheating a little bit when I say this, but I want to say Austin Triple H, the third fall in their
No Way Out of 2001?
2001.
Okay, yeah.
If we want to say full on, like one-on-one from start to finish, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Taboo Tuesday 04 was really good.
Nice, okay.
Because that was just a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm trying to go through the ether here of cage matches.
I don't know myself, honestly.
There's probably one I'm forgetting for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because most of them happen on TV. Like it's not really a pay-per-view match anymore.
It's not really a blow-off. Yeah.
So like I'm trying to filter through like all the TV matches that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I want to say maybe. Yeah, that's probably going to be my answer. It's either that one or Vince and Austin at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That fucking crazy table bump that Vince took. That was gnarly. Gnarly.
Insane. He mentioned in the chat, Johnny, the guy who asked the question, he said AMW versus XXX. That was America's Most Wanted versus Triple X. I think was the tag team. That's a TNA.
Oh, fuck. I'm not even thinking of Six Sides of Steel. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking WWE too. I
know, me too. That's just where my brain's at. I don't know a whole lot. Well, I didn't follow TNA a lot when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Like I knew that that was the place where Jeff Hardy went, Kurt Angle went, like all these other guys went. I didn't watch a whole lot of it just because I don't know, I had grown up on WWE. Like I didn't watch WCW when I was younger. I didn't watch TNA a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
AEW, I just keep up through clips now. I don't go out of my way to watch it. I also can't watch it because I don't have the channel it's on here.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying for another channel if I don't need to. Yeah, like if I'm thinking, no, I know what my favorite cage match is.
What is it?
Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers.
That was his second. Johnny had said the TNA match and Young Bucks and Lucha Bros. That's probably
Young
mine as
Bucks
well because I was
and
there for that
Lucha
match.
Brothers. I remember watching that and going, this match was fucking nuts.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was one of the best pay-per-view AEW ever did. All Out 2021. Yeah.
2021. Yeah,
I agree with
was
that
really
one.
good.
That would be my answer as well because I forgot. I was there for that match and I totally forgot about it. A lot has happened since then, but yeah, I would probably go with that as well. Westway Farm, Western Cape. They had a great question. I'll get to your question in a second, Fernando. You asked the question before that, so I'll go to his first. After Cena wins at Mania, who should eventually beat him for the title and get that needed rub? Good question. If Cena wins at Mania, I think he just loses it back to Cody, to be honest with you. If anyone's going to get Cody doesn't get a rub.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Cody because otherwise I'm not really sure who it would be. Sami Zayn would be interesting, but I'm going to say Cody Rhodes.
Sami Zayn would be wild.
Who else?
I'm going to say Cody.
Yeah.
Sami would be interesting. Maybe Punk. Maybe.
Punk? Well, yeah. Another guy that doesn't need the rub, but that's possible.
Right, yeah. Someone who needs the rub. I don't know.
Jay's already winning a world title, so it won't be Jay.
I was going to say it won't be Jay. Unless if Jay loses at Mania, which would be fucking funny.
That would be ridiculous. Yeah.
It would be ridiculous. I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm going to go Cody. As far as someone who needs it, I don't know. I feel like
Braun
Braun Breaker,
I think
maybe?
Cody makes sense.
Maybe Braun Breaker? That's the only
Braun
person I can
Breaker
think
would
of.
be nuts.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker would be nuts.
I can't really think of anyone else that makes sense, at least not right now. The Westway Farms question, really good question they asked. If you could change the outcome of one wrestling match in history, which one would it be and why for both of you guys? It's a great question. Anything come to the top of your mind, Jamie?
Nexus comes to mind for sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Nexus.
WrestleMania 17? Or do you have Austin win just not turn heel?
17, I would say Austin wins and he stuns Vince as well. Austin's even gone on record and said that he would have just stunned Vince. Those two for sure. Oh boy.
The Nexus comes to mind. I don't know if that's like the biggest outcome I would change in wrestling history.
In wrestling history, I would say, yeah, maybe.
Brock beating Brock. This doesn't really change the course of wrestling history. Ended up being fine, but Cena beating Brock at Extreme Rules 2012. I thought of that the other day. Still makes absolutely no fucking sense.
I know, it's so strange.
In 2012,
that one. I would say, just looking back on hindsight right now, and with the way that things are playing out, Brock didn't need the streak at all.
That's probably the answer I would go with too. Yeah.
I would have given that to. Here's the thing, though: you give it to Roman, it's not going to get him cheered at that point.
Do you have anyone do it though?
They had done it. I don't know.
I would have not. I would not have broken the streak.
Yeah, that's a big fucking debate. I don't know.
I would say keep it. I would say keep the streak. I would change that.
Keep it. If they were to give it to Roman, they would have had no choice but to make him heel.
Yeah.
No fucking choice.
Yeah, I agree.
But Taker's even said too that he doesn't think that Brock needed it. It should have went to, or I think Roman is one of the names that he had said.
Yeah, maybe then turn Roman heel. I know the Roman heel turn that we got was amazing, but turn Roman.
Oh yeah.
Or have Cena break the streak and then he turns heel.
Yeah, well, maybe we would have gotten a better match than we did at fucking 34.
That's for sure. Multiple people in the chat, Alexis Books, Cruz, and Johnny, literally all said, and I was thinking this too, I didn't want to say this one because it's not like a massive match, but it's always bothered me. I know RJ feels the same way. They would have all had Bray beat Cena also at WrestleMania 30. I agree with that one. That was fucking dumb. That Cena beat Bray.
Oh, fuck, yeah, that one. I forgot about. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the biggest one. I think the streak one is. Bookscrew said he would have had Bray beat the streak instead of Brock. Anything. Brock ended up, obviously, they made the most of it. I would have just not broken
Definitely
the streak.
Definitely in the top three, or top 3, top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
that probably didn't need to happen.
Yeah, Bray losing to Cena like derailed his career for like a good 5 years until like the Fiend stuff happened.
God, yeah.
I mean, he did win the WWE title, so it's not like he got ruined after that. He was ruined for a little while, but like at least he ended up rebounding.
But I think like direction-wise, definitely screwed him up.
Yeah, for a long time. They broke up the Wyatt family soon after. Like it was bad.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, here's another one. Johnny mentioned this one. We said maybe Seth or Dean could have broken the streak. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think probably not Dean, but Seth. I think it probably would have been Roman.
Yeah.
I like the Roman idea. But he did say, I forgot about this. Again, doesn't really affect wrestling history, but it's still a pretty dumb outcome. Triple H beating Sting, WrestleMania 31. Also one of the dumbest outcomes of all time.
I've been saying it for years. Or not years, I guess, because he's only been retired for a year now. But like after the Sting retirement last year, I was like, that's one of the things that it's one of the things that AEW did so much better than WWE was treating Sting the way he should have been.
Absolutely.
Like a fucking legend. That's how you do it.
Yep. And he went out on a high note. Revolution a year ago. I'm wearing the Sting sweatshirt now as we speak, and we've spoke for a long time here in the stream. I'm not doing Revolution predictions here today. It's a long card. We won't get to it today, so I'll talk about it next week here on the show.
I work here in about an hour and a half, so
we gotta we're talking too much about the guest host era. That stuff comes first. I'll talk Revolution next week.
Yeah, that's right.
All due respect to AEW, but I'll get back to it next week. Johnny had also mentioned Charlotte ending Asuka's undefeated streak. Another stupid outcome. I would have changed that as well.
Oh my god,
pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Asuka was also derailed for quite a while after that. But yeah, Jamie, this has been amazing. I told you, I think I told you, man, probably have you on for like an hour, and it's been 2.5 hours. But I can never say no to you, Jamie. This has been a lot of fun.
That's it. I love it. This is my fucking stutter's taking a back seat today. It's great.
Jamie, it always does. We've been doing these podcasts for 12, 13 years, and it's always such a pleasure to have you on, talk with you. Hopefully not the last time. Our first video podcast I think we've ever done, actually. That was entirely...
yeah.
We may have done one
I tried to get my Yeti mic set up because it's just got a better sound on it, and I couldn't get the fucking thing to work at all this morning, so I just settled for the webcam. But I assume
quality
audio's been fine, so that's good.
Yeah, it's been totally fine. Well, next time we'll have to run this back again, maybe Elimination Chamber weekend in another 2 years, like Elimination Chamber weekend 2023. We did a podcast in person.
I was going to say Chamber will be overseas next year, and then in 2 years it'll be back.
I'm sure it will be. And maybe that's when we'll make the trip.
It'll probably be in like Edmonton or Vancouver, so like somewhere super far.
Yeah, probably. But if it is, I'll have to make the trip, and we'll have to do a reunion podcast as we did last time, which was amazing, and this was equally enjoyable. But Jamie, people can follow you on the Twitter machine, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, at Jamie Lee Mack. Jamie, anything else? Any other parting words before we wind down here?
Oh man, this has been great. Love being back on here. Love being able to talk about this shit. I mean, like I talk about it every day, with friends and whatnot. But like, it's good. It's good to get on a platform like this and actually air out, shit that's just like thoughts that you've had just floating around about the business and the direction where things are going. It's one thing I will say though about with everything happening so far. Last week, there was a few people going like, Mania 41 card's not looking great. Like it's looking kind of mid and blah blah blah. I think people's opinions have changed now.
I think so.
7 days later, everyone's like, "Fuck, this card's looking pretty good."
Yeah,
like that. Like my mind was completely changed after Chamber. I was like, I can't wait for Mania 41.
Yeah,
and it falls on Easter weekend, and I'm gonna be fucking off for the whole damn thing.
That's amazing.
I should be anyways, but we'll see.
Well, hopefully you can enjoy the show watching from home. Of course, it's going to be a big show in Vegas. Looking forward to talking about it as we get closer to WrestleMania weekend. I'm sure we'll meet up again in the future, like I said, Jamie. But even before then, we'll have you back here on the show. I appreciate you hitting me up via DM a couple days ago to say, hey, I had such an amazing time at Chamber. Can I jump on the show this week to talk about it? And I said, absolutely, Jamie.
Absolutely. You're always the first one I think of.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. And we'll definitely have to do this again in the future. But like I said before, new episodes every single week, WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, all the usual podcast platforms. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. If you're watching on YouTube or after the fact, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Hit the bell button to be notified every single time we drop a new video and every single time we go live here on the channel, which the next time should be Tuesday for hashtag. This kind of turned into a hashtag Ask GSM session here today at the end, but we do a formal Q&A video every Tuesday, and WrestleRant Radio will be back next Thursday with myself and Mr. Marceau. So, Jamie, thanks so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate it. I'll catch you down the road.
Anytime, man. Thank you for having me.
Take care, brother. Take care.
See ya.